a little bit more limitations in terms of those drop downs or pushing that kind of server side wall. But hey, this is, as you said, how Supremacy played it before against Vitality. They didn't want any tool shields, and they have taken them both out of the equation. But start down in this basement, the foretold basement, the old-fashioned point with that much quicker choose time. Echo is definitely you need it right now with Maestro off the table, with the kind of operator selection we've got left, and just this point itself. You got to run it with the Echo.
So it's also interesting as well here. Looking at the lineups, as I said, that Ramsey will take the mirror. I was kind of expecting a mirror in this lineup. Also, just considering how I said about T3H have kind of a big opportunity here to play kind of a weird strategy and play a very adaptive and flexible strategy. They're probably going to be punished heavily on Bank just through what I assume is going to be a big lack of cohesion from them. And we might see, during attacks that might go against them. But interesting thing to note, when we saw similar bans come out during Vitality's match against Supremacy, most of the rounds went to attack.
That's the thing. I mean, we always talk about statistics. We always talk about map preferences and attacker and defender preferences, and then how that rotates into operators that are taken off the table as well. But this is one of those ones where the defensive strategies are pretty inlaid. And I think it's the same thing we kind of saw or see with Oregon, and we're starting to see it, I would say, a bit more with Bank, is you're kind of punishing defenders. And we can talk about the kind of the season that Supremacy's been having and the rounds that they were taking and losing in that game. But I think when you start to rely on strategies that you get when you do the same thing on Oregon with defensive strategies, the attackers find creative ways to push apart those. Whether that ties into it or not, and it was just bad luck or bad run, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But wasting no time at all pushing up through the tunnel with Alive on that Ash. Obviously, Alive was generally the only one running that positive KD, but they are instantly going to start going against a Pulse that is waiting for this peak.
Well, I mean, if Tangy goes down here early on, this is going to be pretty devastating for T3H. He's going to get droned out successfully, however. He has that cardiac sense that he's not going to pull back from this. In fact, still going to stay here and still going to contest it. It's going to pull out Pulse Sensor as well. That is going to give his position away. Oregon still holding off to the top. But if this downstairs attack goes well and they push at the same time, Supremacy could pull off a decent split push here. As it looks like Tactics is going to take a position to try and drone it out. Oregon not looking too good here. Still has an ADS, still has this deployable shield. But this isn't really an ideal situation from him. Dangerous is going to open up the hatch, however, and cut off the rotate. So this is looking much better for Supremacy. If Dangerous does go down here, that is going to be pretty devastating for Supremacy.
Yeah, you can see, obviously, they are putting a lot of faith in holding that hatch. K6 is going for the rotate towards the office stairways on the far side. But there is the first take. Tactis, with that beautiful F2, drops the Jaeger on the staircase. And now it's just a matter of putting a bit more pressure down as Ash is actually pincered. I'm assuming they pincered either side of it. And Pulse, however, has had to retreat and had to play back into the point, which is the fair thing to do. They have the hatch, they have hatch control, and now it is just getting deeper and deeper towards getting that plant off.
That is a big misplay coming out from Supremacy. They let the Pulse get away like that. That was a great opportunity where they could have taken that Pulse out and taken a C4 off the board that they desperately need to do so. But now you can look at the plant NL coming out from T3H. They have everything they need. They have 2 nitros available, they have the Echo drones, and they have all the gas canisters as well. Supremacy's doing nothing to tear this apart right now. There's no backside push coming from them. There's not really baiting anything. Alive's just going to start crawling into the site. Somehow one of the bears managed to get popped. I'm assuming from a well-placed switch drone. But no, the nitro is going to come out. Tangy D will take down Alive. Not going to be alive any longer. Looks like another nitro should be coming out shortly from Tangy D. 25 seconds left to go on the clock. The diffuser will start to go down from the one and only Poseidon. 20 seconds left to go. Slowly planted that diffuser. He's almost just got it down. Tactics and Dangerous both get kills of their own. The diffuser successfully planted with Supremacy. This has all gone wrong for T3H. No nitro available. This is not looking good at all. They're going to have to regain the vertical control because there's no way that Tangy D is retaking that site without it. He's going to push all the way up where he can. Still trying to bait out the push where he can. Hobbit is going to rotate above. Try and see if he can control anything. But Dangerous will take him down. K6 finishes things off on Tangy D. That's Supremacy. Take round number 1.
Well, you said they had so much utility, the defenders. They had those gas canisters, both drones still up, Pulse playing, and to get the C4 kill, to be fair, but Supremacy just crawled in, dug their way onto the point there, and managed to get the diffuser down. Not sure how much was still in pocket at the time of the diffuser going down, whether there was any more remote gas canisters or anything just to stop that close plant that is so familiar and so beaten into this map's kind of structure, but unfortunately just wasn't the confident communication from T3H Esports and just a way to stop it actually getting put. But we'll see if they can kind of, as you said, keeping the pulse alive was a great moment, and it did come back to bite Supremacy with that C4 loop. But apart from that, there was just nothing to follow up, nothing to stop that plant going down.
Yeah, I think there was big mistakes being by both teams, and I think a lot of it just came down to timing at the end of the day, and a lot of this basement defense does come down to that, but kind of surprised that T3H didn't run away with that round there, just based on the fact that they managed to waste so much time around the servers area. I mean, by the time Supremacy was getting the wall open in servers and actually pushing the site, there was only like a minute left to go on the clock. You can waste 30 seconds with smokes, and you know, you've got 2 nitros available, and you have the echo drone on top of that with no IQ on the board. That is bad stuff, but you see Tactics has actually taken the IQ now, so much better adjustment coming out from them. So good to see. Yeah, like, it's good to see that even though Supremacy are winning round and they're doing well, they had like a decent attack, they're still bringing, you know, they're still recognizing what went wrong, and they're bringing the appropriate operators.
This would be able to get them that pulse that was really dogging them, because we could see that they were putting pressure with the Maverick onto the hatch as well, above Pulse, who is still flittering around outside the tunnel entrance trying to battle an Ash. If they'd have just had a little bit more information, which they're now going to have, that's going to be a much easier take, and they can then find themselves pushing that so much more comfortably with so much more time. Oregon obviously holding those blue server room stairs, the same thing, but there is slow drones coming in, the ADS and the shield going to try just hold that much longer than they did previously, but Alive got in there so quickly, managed to get that pincer down so efficiently, and Pulse was there, but then suddenly not there, and they had no way to stop that pincer.
But now it seems like pretty much exactly the same thing that Supremacy were doing last time. We haven't really seen too much adaptation come from the defense, except we do now see a Valkyrie in the lineup, which I'm kind of glad to see, although I still think the Echo is pretty useful here, although then you could also say with the addition of AQ, it's going to be much harder to deal with. Supremacy doing the exact same thing here as well. They're just doing really well to get that open as quickly as he just did. And what that's going to allow him to do is not only get a sight lane, but also throw flashbangs down into red. And Alive is going to pick up the first kill of the round. Tactics gets one of his own, thank D's out of it. That's the Pulse and the Jaeger down. So much better from Supremacy this time as well. They picked the Pulse as well as the Jaeger. And look at the time. There's so much time to work with still.
10.5. The wall is being opened. They have, he said, a lot of time. It was a very clean take. Not sure why Tangy tried to take the fight at the bottom of the stairs. They didn't rotate like they did last time, but hey, we never saw the pressure build up. Maverick again playing on those drop downs coming in before. They have the IQ. They have the wall open. They have a minute. And at this time, they're still battling against that mirror who's going to hold that with the C4. The slow crawl across the room on the other side of the desk hasn't been seen. And I'm going to assume that is Alive on the Ash doing the same thing they did last time. But they have crept their way through onto the bomb, covering the door entrance, so no one can get a cheeky push. But it sounds like they're going to blow more in. Going to get themselves more sightlines as the diffuser goes down. There's the C4. It gets shot out by some beautiful shooting. Ramsey finds Tactics across though.
Great shooting coming out from Ramsey, but the diffuser will go down regardless of that. And we still got so many remote gas grenades up, and this is the disaster right now for T3H. 4v2 situation, and they just have nothing. Havoc still has the C4 as well, so none of that plant arrow is getting used, but a great shot coming out from Ramsey. Alive is Will gonna go down, and Ramsey's gonna try and rotate up, doing the same rotate he did last time to try and regain control. But Havoc takes down Poseidon, and Havoc gets another one as well, and oh my god, K6 is down, and it's all down to Dejas in a 1v2 clutch situation. Holding down where he can. Flashbangs will come down to stop the counter defuse, but he just runs all the way at him. Havix with a 3k. Dejas is out of it, and the counter defuse looks like it's just going to come down just in time for Ramsey to clutch the round. T3H Esports take round number 2, and an amazing retake, despite the fact that they didn't use any of their counter diffuser really that effectively. They still ran away with the round on a really good retake. Like, great gun skill coming out. I don't know what was happening from Supremacy there, but there was absolutely no... In a 4v2, all you have to do is just hold the plant and refrag off each other. We didn't see a single trade come out and they just clutched a 4v2 together. How did that just happen?
I have no idea. Both of them pulled off and rotated, and fair play to them. That was when we saw, because we saw those Valk cams going down, and we saw the setup, and we knew that that's what Valk wanted to do. Wanted to set up for that post-plant retake, and it worked so effectively, bringing in the 3K with the aggression, but at the same time, you talk about their utility usage. There was smokes popping off at the very end of the diffuser there, and you just think, yeah, they won the round, but why are they using them then? Why are they not using them when they know this pressure's coming through? They see the C4s are flying and the bullets. It's very easy, the width of those gas canisters, just to get a little bit more on the point denial, break up Supremacy, but hey, we'll see if that's, you know, we talked about them kind of gelling together and getting used to each other's playstyle, and maybe it's communication, maybe it's kind of working out that balance, and maybe it's something we'll see come across better as we get further and further into these matches and into the season. I don't know, I'd like to see a little bit more utility from him.
I think that's where T3H is going to win this fight, and I said it from the start that I think the tactical advantage really is with Supremacy here, that, you know, and it makes sense for them to have the tactical advantage, but from that previous round, it seems very, very obvious that the gun skill advantage, the pure mechanical advantage, is with T3H. They have some very good, amazing players on the side, and we just saw how devastating that can be sometimes if you're not quite paying attention to what's going on. A 4v2 clutch coming out with not a single casualty during that clutch coming out from T3H. Supremacy just not trading off their kills at all. Pretty poor communication, but also just pretty poor gun skill. Like, they're taking gunfights that they really should win. They seem to have very obvious strategies as well, and I think this is going to be their downfall. Like, if Supremacy don't change things up on the fly, if they only stay with one strategy, T3H should have the ability to adapt on the fly just purely off their experience.
Yeah, they are, as I said, a bunch of, you get a wild ragtag bunch together. I've seen it enough in Hollywood, and they can pull off crazy things, but crawling across the floor is going to cost you there as smoke gets taken out with 2 minutes still on the clock. What a painful thing to watch in almost slow motion there.
You've really got to feel for Hobbit there, though, because that Maverick is almost impossible to hear. He's got to think he's pretty safe doing that, and yeah, he's just gonna get perked up. That's happened to all of us. Yeah, that's a really bad situation to be in, but great utilities coming out there. What is happening right now? Tangy D! What is that? This guy just gave them the Tangy D. Titus goes down, and Blackbeard is already out of it. How do you lose that gunfight as a Blackbeard? You have a shield on your face.
Blackbeard, and there was another man on the shoulder as well. That was Tangy D peeking down from Banana against 2 and then taking care of Blackbeard business. That is, you're not supposed to win those fights, Tangy, but hey, that's what you do, apparently. And we talk about gunners and we talk about abilities, and that is what we're going to see more and more of, as that is what T3H need to goddamn do. But Poseidon putting pressure on that Skylight side, slowly getting walls open. You can see they're trying to find a way to close down against these mirrors, worried about more gunners, more people running out and getting crazy frags as they've just seen, because they've put pressure into Janitors. But there is Tangy D again dropping alive on the other side, and that is Ash taken out of the equation too.
And that's that entire lobby take just got shut down by the Doc who's playing top of Spiral. I'm not sure how he's getting away with that, but maybe Tangy D's just the best dog player in the world as he gets another kill! Oh my god, Tangy D with a headshot onto Dejas at square stairs. Not looking too good now for Supremacy. They're in a 4v2. They haven't really got any of their plant stuff down. Smoke finally going to go out, however. They should try and get through here and potentially get down a plant, but there is still plenty of plant denial on the board. I think there's still impacts coming out from Havoc, so he could use those to impact Trick if he tries to get in position. But he could also just use them to deny the plant as well if he does still have them up. And I'm pretty sure Ramsey also has a Nitro, but Oregon does get the kill on Poseidon. It's a 1v4. It's looking all but over for K6 right now. Nitro does go out, but doesn't find its mark. K6 just runs out of time, saves the AWP, and T3H Esports take round number 3. What a disaster for Supremacy. And Tangy D just sitting on the top of Spiral and just shuts down a push single-handedly, purely out of gun skill. And I said it. I said this is the only way that T3H are going to win this game, is they are going to have to play very heavily off their gun skill, and they have done just that.
Yeah, that was a hell of a way to take that fight and to win that fight as well, especially for how long the battle was between Tangy D and the Blackbeard at the bottom of the stairs, as well as Ash just kind of there alongside. Well, you know, you talk about when rounds are made and when rounds are lost, and I think that is definitely the moment. As soon as that Blackbeard hit the floor and Tangy D felt that vibe of frag, it wasn't going to stop him for the rest of the round.
Also, if you guys see Mr. Officer 88 in the Twitch chat, he is the coach for Supremacy. And I want to say, during the Epsilon game, I was getting a lot of heat in the chat for being the coach for Epsilon and when they lost a round. So, they lose a round. You know the guy to blame in the chat, Twitch.
Are we starting turf wars now?
Well, I'm just saying, if I'm going to get trash talk for being a coach, then everyone should. It's you know, it's equal.
That's
fair play.
That's why I don't get into coaching. Not because I don't know anything about people skills, but
You can't take the heat.
I can't take the heat. I can't take the heat. I stay out the kitchen. I just enjoy the food and talk trash about it.
That's fair. That's fair. Anyway, we are going to see a staff open area. Normally, this isn't really that viable of a site, but with a mirror, it does become a lot better. What I will say about this particular area is this floor above where the mirrors are is actually destructible. So if they lose upstairs control, you don't even need to open the hatch, because you can actually open the top of that. You can open the very top of the wall in admin, and you can pop the mirror as well. So...
Well, we're seeing, obviously, Alive. Now, I think Alive is generally going to be, I've said it a couple of times, he was the only kind of positive KD for the team. He is pretty much a heart and soul of Supremacy, I would say. He's always kind of trying to put the front foot forward first, but there goes Oregon in the meantime, shutting down Vigil on the roam. IQ, this is what we like to see. We like to see IQ drop. But at the same time, as I was saying, I think the more rounds that we see Alive kind of getting those first fights and getting in quickly is the more times that we're going to see Supremacy do well. That's how you got to counter fraggers. That's how you got to counter people that are relying on gun skill, is bring your best gunners and get them gunning.
Bring your best gunners and get them gunning. That's probably the best analysis you've ever done in your life.
I'm putting that on a t-shirt. Holds work both ways. That's...
Yeah, well, Dage's going to be doing pretty much the same strategy he did last time. I'm not sure if Supremacy are really that sure about how they want to attack here, but he is going to open up the hatch completely, and Thermite, of course, is going to be opening up the stock hatch as well. So, I mean, this is looking pretty efficient, although the lack of soft destruction that's actually being used here, I mean, they have the Ash, they have the Jackal. The Jackal's got that secondary shotgun, of course, and that kind of angle I was talking about in admin hasn't been utilized yet, but Alive will pick up another kill regardless of that. Hobbit will go down, and Tangity still on the roam as a Legion will remain. So you'll see that the admin hatch has got opened up now. There's complete vertical control for Supremacy, but they haven't really done much with that. But they don't really need to push off it just yet, because they've got 2 kills out of it.
That's always one of my favorite sight lines is this, the double hatch across bank all the way from that very top to the very, very bottom, and just seeing how people utilize it and play it. Tangy D, again, is just looking for the firefight from the bottom of it, though. Saw the drone go out, and they're not putting a little bit pressure onto it, but as soon as they do, as soon as they lean a bit too far, he's just going to be waiting, and he's allowing the rest of TEF to push around the side. Havoc's looking for that pixel firefight, just missing it as the diffuser is going down. We hear the C4, though, from Ramsey, and that is him shut down. Mirror on this point comes in with a double.
I think that's the first time a plant has actually been denied from T3H, but the plant will go down again regardless of that. Now no more plant denial coming out, but Tangy D is there, and he's going to get a kill out of it. Ramsey gets one of his own. Now it's all down to Alive as he tries to push in through admin. There's still a mirror up here as well, but he's managed to way all the way into the kitchen, and he's going to go for the pre-fire. Does not take him down, and tries to take down Ramsey, but no, he will not succeed. T3H will take round number 4 very successfully, and again, almost purely off of their gun skill.
What? Yeah, that was pretty crazy. What was it you said about mirror on that point? You bring a mirror on that point and you win that point. That's not what you said. It's along the lines of what you said.
I mean, yeah, like, Mirror makes this site way, way more viable, and I'm really surprised that Mirror got through the bans. And I'm kind of surprised that Supremacy would ban the Clash here, considering, like, I thought they banned the Clash against Vitality because they were expecting Vitality to bring the Clash, not because they don't like the Clash on Bank, but it seems like that's why they've done that. I don't think the T3H would have taken a Clash here, because Clash is kind of more about how you can do that. Like,
well, we can see, obviously, as we go in 3-1 to T3H Esports. interesting to see, obviously how Supremacy need to respond to this, because you've said before where they get locked in and where they kind of find themselves, struggling is when they stick to their strats, when they stick to their guns and they don't adapt and they don't find ways to work around it. And yes, we talked about Tech not really having a huge amount of, well, potentially not really having a huge amount of time together as a team and strategies together and not being able to pick apart the other team's strategy, but you've got to think of what things are going wrong, and if it's down to the frag game and how you can cancel it or how you can find ways to close down what Tech are doing. Because so far, apart from that first round where, to be fair, they got away with a lot, they're still getting away with a lot.
Yeah, definitely. So we will see how it's going to go down. Just about 2 minutes and 48 seconds into the round, and we'll see how it's going to go through. I'm kind of just thinking that Supremacy just don't have the gun skill and haven't really shown great levels of coordination yet to really deal with the aggressiveness coming out from T3H. Like we've only seen one plant denial coming out from them, and this is on Bank, a map which is all about, getting that plant down and denying the plant, and that's pretty much how the map goes. Like, if you can't get that diffuser down, you normally just won't win the round. But again, we're seeing Supremacy are playing around that. They know how to play the attack on this map quite well, but they're just not dealing with the retake strategies coming on. They haven't really won many, straight up gunfights. And this is really going to hurt Supremacy in the long run, I think, here, especially when they move on to the defense.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we spoke about momentum, we spoke about just season momentum at the very beginning of the game, but that swap over, when you know the defenders are playing with this aggression and it's working, you are always worried about how that's going to translate to attack when they are given the need to be aggressive, when they are given the guns and the operators that are designed for push. Because that's when things start to really go wrong.
I think this is going to be better, kind of push and time management coming up to Supremacy. Like, now they're going for a back take, which is good because they really weren't changing their strategy, and I think that's what was really hurting them. So, yeah, we'll see a much better take coming up from them. Of course, no Echo and no Maestro means that probably not going to be anyone playing Garage right now. I guess they have the mirror up in Garage, and I'll be watching that angle, but that really isn't enough. Like, you need to know if someone's coming from Garage yet, because there's so much areas to, kind of play around there. And if you've got that push going on main stairs now, that's going to eliminate Oregon. This is really not looking good for T3H right now, but we've seen worse situations for T3H, and they've come out on top. So we'll see how the rest of this round is going to start playing out. And Tangy D, of course, on that pulse is going to be seeing where the push is coming from. And you can see that now Supremacy are very, very split up, but they have a lot of utility available, and they have their entry into the site, but they've only got 30 seconds to work with. Smokes are going to go down. Poseidon will ping it out to see where they're coming from. Daedrus will take down Havocs, and Ramsey using that Vector will try and eliminate them. Only one bullet left, but Daedrus will take him down with a headshot. Tangy D instantly trades it back onto Alive, and now it's a 4v2. We've seen this again before. We'll see it again go down. Taxi's going to be planting the diffuser to see what he can do. Hobbit with the shotgun is going to try and deny it, but it's not good. Oh, no. That is a bit of a whiff coming out from Hobbit there as he tries to move around. K6 takes him down. Daedrus with a pistol flick is going to take down Tangy D, and Supremacy will take round number 5 in a much, much better attack. Way more coordinated and really caught T3H off guard there.
Yeah, and to be fair, if we look at the lineup of T3H, taking that basement point, which we saw them do twice before, and it was the one that they lost, they brought neither Valk nor Echo. And so far, their information game and how they're kind of pushing into that has been very, very good. It's been kind of, I would say, although we never really know what the communication is like, it's definitely something that gives them grounds, and there's Valk brought back for exec office and CEO. It was giving them grounds for their movement and for their control, for the retake that we saw on the basement point that was excellent. And no, they changed off Valkyrie, so I don't know anything, but I don't know, it kind of cost them there because Supremacy, as you said, they were spread out and they were shutting them down from multiple different angles, and it seemed like the Esports didn't have a way to kind of communicate that or answer to that.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with that. We're going to see a CEO defense. If Supremacy can't win this round, I don't think they take the map, honestly. Or the map goes into overtime. Just because of how Supremacy have done so well on the attack in terms of, actual strategy. They're just being shut down all over the place. I mean, Diffuser's trying to go down. They're getting the plant down. There's not much plant denial coming up from T3H, but just purely off of basically Tangy D and Ramsey just fragging out their minds, and also Havoc's on that one round with retake. It's just been completely shut down. And yeah, they've been doing really, really well between them to just win gunfights consistently. And yeah, I mean, we do see a much more strategy coming up from T3H than I really would have expected, honestly. Like, this is kind of a default pull for CEO. I'm assuming Havix is going to try and impact trick here, although the fact that they didn't do so last time, or they didn't manage to do so successfully last time, means this probably won't work. But no Blackbeard coming out from Supremacy is kind of an interesting change-up, considering they probably knew that it was going to be an upstairs hold, considering also that Tangy D was taking the dock in the initial lineup. Oh my god.
Wow.
Oregon should not be allowed to get away with things like that, but Alive will go down instantly, and I think you're honestly right, with Alive getting the entry, it's kind of a do or die.
Yeah, it's...
Oh no! Oregon with the run out! He actually gets the kill, but instantly traded out by the Claymore. That is very, very worth it. That IQ and Ash are already down instantly, and this backside take going out for Supremacy is going to go horribly now if they don't have the Windows control. But Havas will take down Dejas, and now it's a 4v2. But no, a 3v2. K6 from below with the Jackal tracking Inox. He's going to take down Havix. But I mean, that's really not that much of an important kill. I mean, you look at the defenders who are still up. We still have Doc, who's, you know, got that incredible fragging power. We've also still got the Mirror with the plant now with the Nitro. And we've still got Smokes up from Hobbit. Yeah. So we still have quite a lot of control here for the defenders. We don't have a Maverick anymore, and that's probably going to be the biggest punishment here.
Especially dropping the IQ as well, that we actually saw being brought pretty well from Tactis. You said Oregon can't get away with this, and then jumps out and gets another frag before hitting the Claymore. Here is the slow creep into the shield. Tangy D finding the fight and getting the frag. And now it is down to just Thermite, who has to pull out some pretty particular heroics now. Gonna creep around towards that west main entrance and start to creep up the stairs. But this is a hard scenario to be in.
Well, I mean, we've seen interesting things happen this match, so I really wouldn't put Poseidon out of it yet. That 5-6 can be devastating in the hands of the right man. But that's not good. There's Barb on this stairs. I think he's dead. Oh no! Tangy D's abandoned this position on Kanto. That is really bad from him. It looks like they've... No, they don't have control of the diffuser, so I'm not sure why you would rotate out of there, but Poseidon still trying to find an angle through here. Into Penta. He will find Tangy D! Oh no! What has happened there? That is terrible from him. No trade coming out from 2TH just yet. 25 seconds left to go on the clock. Poseidon still up. Barbed wire still down, however. He could potentially clutch this out still. He's in a pretty good position. He has control of Kanto. He's going to push through. Takes out the ADS. Gives away his position, though. And does have 3 flashbangs available. Is he going to use them just yet? Still trying to check for Ramsey. Going to pre-fire and does get him down. There goes Ramsey. And 7 seconds left to go on the clock. He has to get this kill, or he has to go for the play. Gets the pistol out and he clutches the round. Oh my god, it could only be Poseidon that could do something like that. Hobbit is out of it with the pistol whip. And Poseidon will clutch the 3v1, and Supremacy will gain their 3rd attack.
Wow. Okay, I said it's a hard retake. I didn't say it was an impossible one. And he just proved me wrong and right. That was absolutely astounding from Poseidon there. What a retake. What a challenge. Not sure. Obviously, Tangy D had pulled off and was kind of just flittering around in the connector on the other side of Banana. Dropped. And then Mirror on the slow creep. And then the shotgun losing out to the pistol on the close push there at the end from the smoke. There was a lot that kind of confused me about T3H's defense, but you can't not say that was a great Thermite push there.
Yeah, no Mirror coming out from Supremacy is kind of interesting.
Yeah, especially as we are going down to the basement. So obviously they took out shield operators. They didn't want to go against this. This is now theirs to hold. But you're right. It's a bit curious what they're going to do to just try and keep control of a room that is hard to keep control of. Especially with Maestro off the table as well. Maestro's gone. Mirror's gone. They've got Echo for eyes, and they're bringing the Pulse as well. But it's be curious. I want to see how Ella fits into this, if anything, because that was obviously the spot that would probably be the most commonly rotated out, just in this lineup in terms of bringing a Mirror or bringing something to keep that cover a little bit more solid. But it is 3-3 at the split, and to be fair, I think fans of both teams wouldn't have predicted this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's just overall on Bank, it tends to be one side or the other depending on bans, and I really would have thought bans-wise this would have been attacker-sided, but I mean, we really haven't seen that yet. It's going to be interesting if T3H can pull this off, because as I said, I think the tactical advantage is still with Supremacy, and with a 3-3 split, I would still say things are pretty much in the hands of Supremacy here, that on defense, they should be a lot more like, we saw a lot on T3H's defenses. They weren't coordinated, they weren't getting down plant denial where they needed to, so I think Supremacy should be able to pull that off, but T3H have proven frag capability is very good for them. And they know the default strats for this. Like, they're not an inexperienced team by no means. These are still very known comp players. I mean, they could still pull default strats off. Maybe not so much in a coordinated way, but definitely in a kind of we know what we're doing kind of way, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the thing, because we can talk about these guys not really playing much together, but that doesn't mean that they don't know this game. They are very comfortable, very familiar, and very known, as you've said. These guys have been around the block many, many times. You know,
no Thatcher. That is really disappointing.
Yeah, that's an oof, especially trying to push this staircase. We see the amount of ADSs. This is what they want their Ella for. Tangy D shuts down Jaeger, though. Again, not the worst loss. You hear it rolling just a little bit too far and actually got caught by the ADS. This is a very hard take on this staircase now as they keep putting pressure and keep putting bullets towards an Ella that is dancing up and down this stair set for a while.
It might not be as bad as it may seem, just because he doesn't have the shotty. If he had the shotgun, I think this would be a very difficult position, but you could just straight up win this gunfight. Like, if you go prone, you can take out the Elamite, and then you can just push him, and you know he's going to be halfway down the stairs, holding the angle because he doesn't have the shotgun, and where the shield placement is as well. And oh my god, how does Oregon not get that kill into alive? This is exactly what was happening in the first round when Supremacy were attacking, is they were letting that pulse get away, and yeah, wow, T3H just let the same thing happen.
Yeah, that was absolutely simple. Obviously, they're still holding down with the Echo inside, but there is 30 seconds left on the clock. And when it was the flip side, and we talk about Supremacy only having a minute left to do their push and get the wall down, T3H have 30 seconds. Oregon pushes against K6, gets the frag against the Ella, and just pushes through the Ella mine. There comes some plant denial. Smokes are going down. Here comes all the utility.
Oh.
So many, but runs through into the connector, gets one. Somehow Texas gets the refrag against Havoc, and there's Echo watching the plant, waiting. There is only 7 seconds. Surely this is theirs to take. Hits it twice though.
Really badly timed by Poseidon there. Like, he missed it by like a millisecond. That was really bad. But Poseidon is going to pick up a kill anyway. Oregon goes down. And another one. Oh my god, Poseidon, the clutch master. Will he do it again? It's a 1v2. All down to Tangy D and Ramsey to clutch this out. He knows where one of them is. I would expect the other one is going to be on the hatch. No, he's actually playing server hatch. So if Poseidon pushes now, he could potentially get the frag here. And it could go very, very well for him indeed. Pushes through, assuming he still has a yokai drone on site to give him this information. He'll push all the way up. They can hear him, but they can't see him just yet. He goes to the push, but no, Tangy D will win out. T3H Esports will take round number 7 in an almost disaster of an attack there.
Imagine, obviously, that Echo and how gutted you must feel. Almost played a fair bit of heroics, but it's, you know, it's one of those things where it's going to kind of eat you up, because that should have been, for all intents and purposes, with the Echo drone sat there, that should have been their round.
Yes, anyway, the reveal phase beginning and ending right now, and we'll see, well, everyone will see what is happening, and, you know, we'll see how it is going to go down. But looking at the lineup and looking at the scoreboard and everything, it looks like Supremacy just going to stick with the same strategy. They're not going to bring the mirror again, which I think was pretty devastating for them. They didn't really have the intel, or they didn't act on the intel that they needed to do. They could have won that round very easily, considering there's an IQ who's in the site and there's still an Echo drone up, is a big, big misplay. But here we go. It's going to be 25 seconds into the prep phase now, and yeah,
it's the joys of all this. Obviously, we kind of look at the information game, and it's such a big part of Siege itself. It is in the core of Siege, and not kind of bringing information ops that you've been allowed, and obviously there's so many on the board. We've talked about they have Echo, they have Pulse, and they are both fantastic operators as we go into the actual phase. It's, you know, not having a mirror on a point like this where you know you're going to be playing off the point. You know you're going to be playing off the point with a long, long wall that you can put a mirror on to keep it in control.
Yeah.
You just wonder why you're not using that and why you're not utilizing that, because you know you're going to be on that wall.
I think Supremacy is just really used to like not having the mirror here because it's a very, very common ban on bank for a very good reason. And another part of that is we saw the staff open area, and that's really only viable when you have a mirror. So I think that T3H is just adapting better here, and kind of disappointing to see from Supremacy given their experience. So you know, we'll see how it goes down given, you know, we're still very, very early days here. It's still a best of 2, right? Like, anything can still happen. We do have Border next, and I think Border, again, is going to be one of those maps that should go to T3H. So, I'm not sure how it's going to go down. Also, something I want to point out from the previous round, that there was the shield at the top of the blue stairs here. That it's there again. The thing about the shield is that you can't run past it. So he has to jump over it, and he has to try and get the angle that way. Although the vaulting doesn't really put you in a great place. You generally want to get rid of the shield, but you can do it with the sledgehammer. I don't think most people know this, but you can actually sledgehammer the shield, and you can remove it that way.
Yeah, well, that's it. Obviously, we're seeing the way that they're kind of pushing and closing down onto that staircase, and you've talked about just putting pressure on. You know K6 is playing with the Scorpion. You know that they're setting up these Grismots, and you know exactly where she's going to be. And these are players of a caliber where this is ingrained in just how they play, but IQ with just going for the peak there without even putting any like predetermining pressure, and just drops each other. The old-fashioned Siege trade where they take care of each other's business.
Yeah, 1 minute left to go on the clock now. We still see plenty of plant denial left from Supremacy to win out the round. This is not good because you've lost your IQ and there's still Echo drones up on the site. And there's just so much with Supremacy to do here to destroy this push. I think it's going to be more about T3H having to just make a play here than anything. But Ramsey picks up the kill into tactics. That's definitely good. And there goes an Echo drone as well. So Hobbit moves in to go for plant onto the diffuser. Instantly running out as a Nitro does go out. It does catch Ramsey, however. And now it's a 2v3. The plant, again, is going to start going down. There is no plant denial available, it looks like, as it is going to go down successfully. As Hobbit does just get the hell out of there. Alive will shut him down, but Tanky D instantly trades it back. And that's going to be all the way down to Poseidon. Did have an Echo drone up again, so no plant denial coming out from Poseidon. He's going to have to try and rely on his gun skill to remove the other operators and try and clutch out the round again. There goes the drone. We will try to push all the way through into the open area. He sees it all go down. The pre-fires coming away from him. Flashbang's going down as well. Tangity still holding down the admin areas. The diffuser slowly doing its work. He tries to win the gunfight. Can't quite find the aim. Can't quite find the kill. But there we go. Tangity takes down Poseidon with a headshot. And T3H take roundabout in. Yet another successful attack at the downstairs. And this is going terribly for Supremacy. They're relying way too much on the Echo plant denial on that late doors. It's just horrific for them.
Yeah, you just have so many questions about what was going on with that Echo drone at the end there. Maybe Echo is wrapped up in a push from another side, but then you think about the cover you can have, and it's just when you are limiting the information ups you're bringing to a point like this, you've got to keep your eyes on the one that you have, the one that is bringing you that plant denial against that, because that's twice in a row now. And granted, the first one was unlucky. That was millimeters between stopping that plant and winning the round. It happens, it's unlucky. The second time, as you said, where was the other drone? What was it doing? It rotated out of there onto the point, or if the drone was there, what was catching Echo up? What was taking the attention of your one last line and running it into the ground?
It's hard to tell because we didn't get to see what the Echo, was doing, what the position was. We also saw some very, very tiny mistiming coming out from the Echo drone during the last time. We'll see Supremacy with an upstairs defense this time, and this is good. I think most teams will change it up after 2 losses. That will just be let's just go somewhere else. They are going to choose the second most successful site on this map, and it's going to be the Archives and Tellers. And they're going to be holding upstairs with it now. This is actually the first time we've seen this defense come out. And again, to me, Supremacy are sticking with strategies that don't include Mirror. Probably because they're not used to playing with Mirror on this map.
Yeah, no, that's a fair shout. I was thinking about that. Is obviously because she is the common ban. She's very common to get taken out, to the point where a lot of teams strategize around her being assumed she's off the table. Also, we'll say K6 opening the frags, taking care of Maverick, and that is a pretty big load off the shoulders. Not just in the operator, the operator dropped, but in the player taken out as well. There is the second followed up with a frag, and easily the best that Supremacy have looked at the start of one of their defensive rounds so far. They haven't been too great on the previous ones. The drones are coming out above now. It is the slowest T3H have looked in terms of just trying to get their feet into the point, into the map. And maybe, to be fair, they didn't expect the upstairs point.
I really think they should have, just like looking at the lineup and looking that there was now a Doc and a Mute in the lineup now. But maybe they're just not used to attacking here, but clear they are losing these early gunfights. Regardless of that, they have managed to open up the wall. And it's going to be a 5v2 though. This isn't exactly ideal, but it is still clutchable. They've got an entry into the upstairs area, and, you know, this is pretty good movement coming out from them. Shotgun holes are going to be made from below. However, the pre-fires are going to come down. Deja's not in a great position here as he tries to get another one of these kill holes open from the below area here, but there isn't really much movement coming out from T3H right now. They really need to start making a push. They need to know where they're actually going to come from, and they need to get a pick. And there we go! Havix is going to find it! Alive! Caught with his pants down. He's going to be removed from the map. And we got 1 minute left to go on the clock. And this really is not looking good for T3H. They're slowly running out of time. There's still all 3 Inoxes up from Havix. This is really poor utility coming out from a Jackal on Bank. That is not what you want, but Poseidon with a great angle there from the lobby. Very unexpected. Havix goes down, and Hobbit is the only one remaining. He will make his way into admin area, however. He should be able to get this wall open easy as that, but only 35 seconds left to go on the clock. And K6 will remove him. Supremacy take round number 9 and find their first round on defense with a different site.
Wow, that was a Supremacy more reminiscent of the caliber that they used to be as a team, obviously, with their previous history throughout the many leagues in ESL and in Siege, but at the same time, will they be able to carry that across? Because as we said, so far, generally, T3H have just been looking very comfortable. They've been playing for fragging, they've been getting those trades and getting those picks that have been very well for them. And I guess maybe having a little bit of unexpected there and pushing against a point that they didn't expect to push against potentially was what cost them in terms of the frags. What a
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
See you, boosted boys.
You love to see it. Goodbye, guys. If your name is on that list, leave the stream chat. You're not allowed.
That is unfortunate. My god, they're all out of it today.
Oh, that's good. That's keep it rolling. Look at it going. And then
This is where we see someone from this game get banned now.
yeah, or like our account. Like,
Yeah.
oh, there goes me. But my god, that is still going. Still going. Oh my god. Guys.
So, it looks like it stopped for now. The wrath of Ubisoft has been sated. And there we go. So we're seeing Supremacy with an upstairs hold. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't bring the dock here, if I'm being honest.
I mean, yeah, we've seen the kind of pretty great ACOG aggression from this point from a lot of teams from a lot of different regions. I remember casting Ladam and the crazy stuff we would see involving Doc and that ACOG and that MP5 on Banana and holding lobby and just the heroics you get to see from this point. It's a place where it works really well because there are those sightlines. There is that vertical, well, I say vertical, the up-down control and power that you can kind of hold just by being a Doc with an ACOG at the top of those stairs. And we saw it in this game as well. Obviously, we saw Tangy D bringing that role excellently. Yeah.
Again, no mirror. I think Mirror is such a great operator for pretty much every single site on Bank, and I'm really disappointed that Supremacy have not adapted their strategy around to include these operators that they so desperately need. And, you know, it just seems clear to me that they're losing a lot of map control, and it's because of the Mirror lack. that, you know, T3H, they adapted to. They're kind of like running just default strats, and I said it from the start that they have, you know, the tactical advantage Supremacy should, but the bans really just didn't go in their way, I suppose. But there we go. Deja is going to pick up the first kill of the round. There goes Oregon already. And he actually gets away with that run out. Oh my god.
Does not get Havoc.
There we go.
Yeah, taking care of business there. Havoc's dropping the loop background. They've put the wall through. They're putting pressure on it as well, covering the run out, but manages to take care of Hobbit, unfortunately, who bites the dust. Tangy D picks up the diffuser, though. They're trying not to lose any time in the transition between putting pressure and getting this diffuser down. Valkyrie gets dropped as well as bullets get thrown across. Now it's just Echo and Elysian versus the triple threat that is putting pressure across that northeasterly side. A lot of concern here as what underneath is just making the ground very tough to stand and hold onto. The grenade rolls out. There's a little bit of damage to K6, who is concerned about the push round from the lobby side, or from the reception side even. Now it is a minute and a standoff, and a lot of gunners left on this table.
Yeah, quite a lot of plant denial as well, as the Yokai Jones, I'm assuming, is still up, since the IQ is, of course, off the board. K6 still holding down where he can. There we go, Poseidon. We'll see how that does go down. And, yeah, there's, like, still plenty of time left remaining, though. We still see Ramsey on the book, of course, and anytime Ramsey's left on the book, there's still quite a lot of plays that could happen from T3H. And you do have the numerical advantage here, but it might get removed in just a second. Smokes are going to go down as well from T3H. They should be able to get away with the plant here shortly. K6 is going to bring it the bearing as Ramsey takes down Poseidon. The plant will go down. No, K6 can't find any frag, and T3H will put themselves on match point as they move on to round number 11.
Wow, this is, as you said, T3H. This is them doing it on Supremacy's map. They're coming in with gun skill. They're coming in with a bit of pizzazz, and they're coming in to make their mark in their first game on CCS. And it's going that way so far. We can see Tangy D 13-5, having an outstanding game. Hobbit, unfortunately, 0-10. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the ace round clutch. You never know the heroics that might come out. Same time, it's not that Supremacy aren't getting frags and picks. It's just they're kind of struggling to find a way to stop fraggers.
Look at that, Tangy D. It's giving them the Tangy D. Incredible scorework coming out from him. And he's had some great performances as well. Some great overall fragging power. Especially that 3K's Doc on the top floor defense coming out from T3H. Some great moves coming up from him. And just really showing that the fragging power is definitely with T3H. Although, I wouldn't be too surprised to see this go to OT. But Supremacy, again, just not bringing this mirror. Like, the mirror castle strategy that T3H did here, while it's very default to do, that, I don't know, like, it's just so much better than holding it this way. Like, you can see that Supremacy lost very, very, very quick control here without it. And it's not like, you know, this would affect their reinforcement strategy or placements, because they're reinforcing the walls where you would put mirror. Like, I don't think you really need the Legion here, considering there's no Monty. Like, Legion's just more annoying when you don't have to deal with the Monty, right? Like,
Yeah.
He's like hard counter to Monty, but other than that, he doesn't really add much.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, we talk about when Mira is allowed on the table and when she's not, and we talk about maps and points, because even when Mira is let through the ban phase, there are certain places where she's not the most viable, she's not the most strategical to bring, but at the same time, you're completely right. Having a mirror would only enhance the defense that they're setting up as their core of this defense. Yes, Legion is a good operator in situations, he's a great operator in others, but there's no Monty, there's no shield push, they're not moving slowly, and they're moving pretty spread out. All Legion's really going to be getting you is that mild annoyance and a slight early warning system. Think about how you can change that. Think about how you can change the core of your defense and the cover of your defense, which is so far what is collapsing for you.
I mean, you say it all the time. Adaptation, adaptability coming out is pretty much the key of how you play these days. And, like, the aggressive meta that comes out, you have to learn how to deal with it. Mirror is a great way to do that. There we go. Oregon get the first kill of the round. Dages is going to take him down. And, oh my god, from above, Tactics, he's just pellet shooting right now. How does the shotgun do that much damage from that range from such a slit? That is ridiculous. Ramsey goes down for it though, and now it's just about halfway into the round, but it's looking kind of even.
Now that's the thing, the wall gets blown open. Tactus is holding this Janet's closet with everything they have. Knows how important this round is, and they are only 2 rounds away from pushing it into overtime. So it is not the end of the world. Alive is waiting for someone to repel on the windows, but with only a minute left, be curious to see if they do actually catch someone from that push. Maverick is putting the pressure in. The diffuser is not too far away from point. At this point, Alive really needs to rotate in, just back up the defenders, maybe even rotate underneath, find some pressure against the bottom of those against the bottom of that square window skylight stairs. But K6 holding them off from that range again, just using the opening. But there is a beautiful amount of bullets put into Maverick at range. Hobbit gets taken down as well, just crawling around. Poseidon shuts down Havocs in the meantime. There is the rotation from underneath I called for. Alive with the double against Tangy D. And it is now just Oregon left in a clutch or kick scenario.
Well, he has actually managed to find his way into the site though, but there we go. Alive will finish off all hopes of that all the way from square stairs. Supremacy will take round number 11 and will keep themselves in this potential overtime coming out here.
I mean, 1 round away, 1 map away, and we talked about the importance of this for Supremacy because obviously they're so far 2 losses and a win, but 2 losses and a draw even. They are technically the lowest rated team inside the CCS league. Outside.
I know that we've been avoiding the topic, but I feel like I was giving Hobbit a chance. I didn't mention it at all because he's a good lad and we know him. He's a good English lad. But at this point, Hobbit, you are 0-0-11. I get that he's playing the Thermite in the smoke, but this has gone too far at this point. Like we see that Poseidon clutched a 1v3 with Thermite, so
could be saving strats.
He's saving the individual strats.
saving the individual strats of mages, but yeah, this is when we talk. Impact frags is a phrase thrown around. You do need those; they are great for support players, but also general frags. They're quite nice to get.
Or really just anything.
Really, just doing something is a good thing to do.
Think about it this way, right? If you're opening the wall and you're doing your job, right, like you're throwing down plant denial or whatever, like you're doing your job there. But anyone can do that, right? Like, if I took anyone from ranked and I told them sit here and throw 3 smokes at that split, they could do it.
Yep. Well,
that kind of seems like what Hobbit is to me right now.
Well, we'll see. We'll see the heroics that might come out. I still have faith in Hobbit. Maybe he's just trying to stay a bit quiet and take the ring to Isengard. But we see if he can pull it out on this match point potential. Obviously, we've already been on 1 match point. Havocs is putting the same pressure as they did before. Obviously, they've had to rotate the defender point that they're on. We have returned now down to the basement, and here comes that familiar pressure again. No mirror, but Caveira on the board this time.
I'm honestly not that against the Caveira play here, because if Caveira is using a silent step as she's about to get pinged, she won't actually get pinged, but I don't think Dejas either is aware of that or cares, I guess.
Apparently
maybe
so.
he wants them to know where he is. It's the fear tactic, right?
Yeah, it's like, you know, give them wall hacks and be like, now come and beat me in a firefight. You know, get
he's... Oh, no, he's not getting tracked. It's not him. Oh, right, okay. I thought Dejas was getting tracked. So Dejas is still here. He hasn't been droned. He hasn't got tracked. Jackal's assumed that he's tracked the person who was up here, and Dejas could get away with a devastating flank right now, although he hasn't got a shotgun, which I gotta admit is a little bit questionable. This could be a very potential interrogation. Oh, you saw him! You saw him! Dejas, please. Please get the interrogation. Please. And we'll have a disconnect. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there was too much pressure put on Hobbit. Has actually disconnected. Has put the ring on and disappeared. So we will see if that is going to be something fixed. Obviously, it's not a great time for it to happen, to lose your best player, top fragger, this close towards the end of a game. But Dejas, as you said, creeping behind this Jackal.
They have no idea. They have absolutely no idea that he's there. right now as the Echo Drone is going to go around. You'll see him and take him down. Oh my god. What a great flank coming out from Deja. He still has 2 impacts available as well, but Ramsey will remove K6. They should start to actually just push onto the side and just go for a plant, but they don't have the diffuser in hand. This is a disaster for T3H right now. They are still dealing with someone on the flank. This is not good. Deja deals with another one in this flank as well. There goes Tanky D. And it's all down to Oregon and Ramsey to try and bring this in. And there we go. Deja still above. He's going to try and impact, and he will do successfully. Try and do some damage here. And he's just causing so much havoc. But there we go. Ramsey tries to shoot him down and will do successfully. There he goes. And now it's a 3v2. This is much more winnable, but there's still C4s, there's still a C4, and there's no hard reach. So this is like a disaster right now for T3H.
Well, that was exactly it. We talk about adaptability. They push hard into the point. They have no other choices. Alive, just chilling on the side in the smoke. Picks up a double lying there in and amongst the folders, waiting for that push. That is what we wanted to see from Supremacy. We wanted to see changes to what they were doing. We wanted to see changes in how they were defending and how they were taking it, and that is what we got, and it worked. Obviously, we unfortunately lost Hobbit during that. How much of an impact he was having before is up for the debate in Twitch chat. I'm sorry, I'll stop making these jokes, but you know, we're going for the rehost, we're going in on a 6-6, we're into overtime. Hey, that's what we wanted to see. I can't stress it enough. Adaptability.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not completely against the Cav play there. And, you know, technically she is a counter to the Jackal. So, I mean, there's been a Jackal pretty much every single round from both teams. So, yeah, I mean, it worked. You can't argue with the results. Might argue how we got there exactly, but yeah, I think it was just abusing the fact that T3H just had really poor drone work coming through. They were really relying on the Jackal. Good adaptability coming out from Supremacy. Glad to see them finally bringing something different. Still would have liked to see them bring a mirror, but you know, it's it works.
The way it goes.
You can't argue with results at the end of the day, really, can you? So
I mean, you can try, and we do as casters. Our job is to be like, why are they doing this? They're winning, but why are they doing this? And then, to be fair, some teams would be like, oh, we want to try it. And other teams are like, this is our crazy new strategy, and this is how well it works. Not bringing the mirror on those kind of points where you have the option to is curious, and we saw them suffer those few rounds, but obviously that Caveira trick, well, I say Caveira trick, having a roamer that pushed that hard and didn't get detected because, as you said, they put so much faith into that Jackal getting the right pings and the right picks from a team that were generally playing fairly defensively. You know, it worked once. Whether it would have worked again and again and again and again, or it's a hit it and stop it kind of play, I guess we won't really know unless they do a similar thing this time around in the overtime. But
also, since it's a rehost, Hobbit's going to think that, oh, it's not going to look as bad in the end scoreboard because now he won't be 0-11. But I just want to point out to everyone that Hobbit was 0-0-11 before we went to our rehost, and him, you know, leaving the game and us doing the rehost and resetting the scoreboard is not going to change that fact of life.
Yep.
So everyone, please note down in the chat that Hobbit is 0-0-11, so we have a historical record going on, and we can't let him forget that.
To be fair, we did talk about maybe a player might get caught up in the ban wave for being boosted, and then Hobbit disconnected. I'm not, you know, bringing conspiracy theories here. I'm not. We're not.
We're just saying what happened at the time.
Facts.
We're just saying facts.
We're just saying facts here.
Considering he's 0-0-11, people are getting banned for being boosted. Doesn't take too much. I'll let you do the connecting the dots chat.
Yeah, this is your red thread to put between pins, but we are going for the rehost to attempt to get him back into the game. Obviously, on overtime, this has been pretty back and forth statistically. Obviously, we've had the diffuser go down 6 times, so 50% of it has been plants. No, or only, in fact, I say no, 1 diffuse has gone down as well in and amongst that. So these are guys that aren't that scared to try and get the diffuser in, but at the same time, as soon as we kind of see those, you know, top fraggers taken out of the equation, what seems to suffer on Supremacy side is they kind of falter. They get a little bit worried, they get a little bit kind of slow, and I'm kind of hoping that we don't see that as much in their attacking rounds. Granted, it was 3-3 at the split, and then it's come back to 6-6. We've had 2 rounds on match point. both have gone Supremacy's way. They are not out of this yet. They got to keep that momentum. They've got to keep that fire.
I mean, I really thought that this was going to be really attacker-sided, especially with the fact that there's been no mirror usage coming out from Supremacy, and it seems like Supremacy have either caught on to how T3H play, or just took them to a site where they weren't as coordinated. Like, that upstairs attack was mind-bogglingly bad compared to the other attacks that came out from T3H. Like, that downstairs attack in the first couple rounds were incredible. But after that, it all just fell apart. There was also some great mid-round adaptation from T3H. So when they got into server, I think they kind of realized that, okay, we don't have anything going through us. Like, we can't stop the plant denial going down. And Tangy just runs through the site, hops over, and vaults into Red Hole. Like, this, and people are, like, laughing, and I can see you giggling over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is honestly a good play. This is something that G2 have done during their bank attacks, that if you realize in that moment you do not have the plant denial to actually effectively put that diffuser down, go kill someone. Go get in there, get on top of them. Even if you die and you don't kill anyone, you still bought enough space and you've bought enough time for that diffuser to go down in the first place, or for people to drop down red and for people to get aggressive on the other team, especially if you have number disadvantage. That's exactly what you should be doing in that situation. So, great mid-round adaptation coming out from TTH. I don't know if anyone's like IGLing or like what the comm system is for TTH right now, but you know, if people are just like, you know, because sometimes when people are playing for fun, and I've experienced it before, I've been in teams that have done it before, where they just go, boys, I'm gonna make a play here. It's gonna be incredible. Watch this. That's what they do, and that's all you have to say.
Well, that's it. You know, one of the main things that we came into this game talking about is the kind of balance of the stack that is T3H and the kind of team that's come together from this myriad of different places to fight this good fight in CCS, and how much experience they have kind of working strategies and how much they're going to try and pull back on strategies, which, as we said, they know a lot about this game. It's just how much they know together and how much they're going to kind of bring in together and kind of break stuff up together. We talk about the heroic plays as well, as you mentioned before, the run through the Tangy D, whether this is a strategy or just Tangy D going Tangy D and getting the downstairs attack across the lobby to take down the Blackbeard, and then the Ash completely stopping that lobby push from the Braves of Banana. It's the balance between that, and hearing how they're kind of fluctuating this in their comms and hearing how they're kind of working together and how much they're kind of shaking things up. I'm very curious as to how this team is going to kind of play, because this is their first game in CCS. This is their day one in CCS. We've seen Supremacy play 3 weeks, but is this going to change? Is this what they're going to build on? Is this their groundwork we're going to see? Or next week, are we going to see a completely different T3H?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Don't forget as well that going into OT, Supremacy have the first defense. And that still, I would say this is fairly attacker-sided. When we get into overtime, you tend to see like a completely different playstyle from teams, and sometimes you completely see it go the opposite way. Like, see mirrors coming out, maybe we'll see different stuff coming out. And at this point, you played 12 rounds against the other team. You should know at this point quite well how they're going to play. And also, you know, you got people like Mr. Officer who've been watching the entire stream. You know, I'm hoping that the coaches from each team, if T3H have a coach, are in the team speaks, in the discords or whatever, and they're talking to their teams and they're like, okay, look, this is what they're going to do. This is how they're going to play. This is how we should play. This is the adaptability coming out. And hopefully we'll see a little bit different playstyle coming out from these teams. But there we go. We are back in now. Supremacy versus T3H, and Supremacy will start out on the defense.
Now, this is the make or break. Obviously, this is Supremacy's map and Supremacy's pick. They started on the attack, and it went okay. I mean, it came through as a 3-3. They did look shakier, I would say, in their attack more than their defense. Their defense has kind of come together, especially in these last couple of rounds. They have really felt a good balance. Now, we can talk about operators that I'm surprised they didn't bring, but they're bringing stuff that is working. Kavira in the last round, as you said, was a very, very good shaking up of what was going wrong and just changing the balance of their pick. But we're going to start in Teller's office and archives now. It's a curious set of 5.
Yeah, so Let me take you through my thoughts here, Captain Fleek. If you'll,
All right, I'm
you know,
sitting and I'm listening.
you'll entertain me here. We've got a dock from Supremacy. This is the same lineup we saw from Supremacy the last time they defended here, but again, we're seeing the Legion. And I'll say it again, what I said last time. I do not think you need a Legion in this lineup. You know what I'd like to see?
Tell me.
Could you hazard a guess?
I got a couple of, I'm thinking of
That's
Mirror.
right, it's the Caveira. Oh, yeah, the mirror, sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of baffling. I mean, as you said, we talk about pick ban when it kind of came in, and teams becoming comfortable, becoming familiar with the idea that we're not going to have a mirror on a strategy, so let's work without a mirror. Let's play without a mirror, and that's fine. That's a valid thing to do. Having a fresh plan A where you're considering that you're not going to have a mirror is exactly the same thing that a lot of teams did with Lion before he was put into his kind of hibernation. Was they would play without a line. They would work without a line in their strategies, and that was how it went. That was the story. But occasionally, these operators get let through on these maps, and you've got to remember that there's a reason that they were the permanent bans, and there's a reason that you should not sleep on them. And this is such a map for Mirror. This is such a place for Mirror, such a play for Mirror that wouldn't, and I think this is the main crux of it, it wouldn't change a huge amount of how you're setting up. It would just enhance it. It would not reinforce it, because you're reinforcing the same walls anyway, but it would double down on your reinforcements and just give you so much more possibility for your defense. It's only an improvement.
Yeah, also Castle's pretty typical here as well. Even if they're assuming that the mirror is going to be banned, like, there we go, this is Legion Mine, it called someone, it did 10 damage, it's done 20 damage now, thank you, he's not having a good time with these. But, like, what is the tactical usage of the Legion here? Like, no one is peeking off of this, no one has an opportunity to peek off of it. All they've done is 20 damage to Tanky D, and let's say it's Tanky D, he doesn't need that 20 health, he doesn't even need 100 health, he could do it with 1 health.
Well, that's it. He's Tangy D. He's mad. He's crazy. He's a maverick. And he's a maverick in the game. And he's looking for the push here. Legion has rotated his way underneath, though. Tangy D's still playing up here. Does want to shut him down, but gets the long sight lines all the way across the balcony. Not really concerned about any kind of counter pushes. They have slowly and steadily cleared across top. And to be fair, this is them digging. And this is how they want to take it the first time, but there is the opener. That 20 Legion damage really did slow him down a lot there as he shuts off. Smoke, your big boy defender.
Also, just less than a minute left to go on the clock, and we are seeing Book decide to do construction work upstairs now. And this is such a powerful position for Ramsey to be in. Considering that Ramsey is known as a very, very good Book, he could definitely do some work up here and definitely start to dissect the site. But on top of that, even if he doesn't get a kill out of this, T3H can use the space that he's making to go for the plant. Oh no, that's not good.
Ooh, but that is for T3H, Tangy D, and Havoc's finding more frags. Tangy D, again, 3 frags for him. It is just down to K6. Doc going for something crazy now. The diffuser is being planted. There's plenty of time to get this down and nothing to stop it. How much information could be being fed? We will never know where those vault cams are, but we are in the retake scenario. Most of the roof is open.
What?
Wow.
What was that kill from K6? Oh my god, he is going to move it through and see what he can do as K6 moves all the way up, and Hobbit will find his first kill! Yes! Paul Champs in the chat for Hobbit, the best thermite in the world. There we go, he gets his first kill of 13 rounds, and he's finally found that headshot to K6. Absolutely beautiful, amazing plays. Completely went off the back of Hobbit there.
The prophecy is complete. Hobbit has gotten a kill. And now we don't know what is going to happen with the universe. But pre-swap over, yet again, T3H find themselves in map point. And yet again, Supremacy are going to try to keep themselves in it. I would say they kind of need this map. They need a win against this team. Because if there is a team that you could say they're kind of not expected to beat based on player quality, but expected to beat based on fresh appearance to the league, this is it. They're against the new boys. They're against the new faces, the fresh faces, and they've got to kind of show them the ropes. And so far, it just seems like they're struggling.
It is going to be a CEO defense, and that was a really good read from Supremacy to realize that it was going to be a CEO defense considering the lineup that was being brought. So that's why you saw the 6th pick there onto the Blackbeard. There's just going to be a direct reaction to that, because why else are you going to be bringing the dock and the castle here if you're not going to go upstairs? So this is also like the disadvantage of using the mirror quite heavily and using these like set strategies, is that Supremacy at this point, I now know what you're going to do. What maybe T3H are thinking is kind of like a surprise site for them to take is now something that Supremacy should be prepared for. But going forward, this was not a good site at all for Supremacy. Even when they knew they were going up here, there was so much that was going wrong for them the first time they attacked here. Especially, like, basically mostly off the Tangy D getting that 3k. But him completely shutting down the front take from Blackbeard and Ash completely saved TH that round. And then on the flip side of that, Poseidon got put in a 1v3 the second time they attacked. And I don't know how, but on the Fragmite, Poseidon showed them he knows what's up on the Fragmite. I'm quite a fan of the Fragmite myself. People underestimate Thermite. They think that Fragmite's a joke. Poseidon doing the Fragmite, that's not a joke. That happened. We witnessed it.
Hey, he's the old familiar. Thermite knows maps. He has probably got, I would say, as an operator, more feet on these maps than almost any other operator. He's reliable. He's all reliable, and here he comes yet again, trying to get this clutch out. Obviously, you said it did not go well for them because they didn't. The round that they won, they didn't actually bring the Blackbeard against this point. It was instead a good read to know that they'll be swinging up here. This was a point that they won pretty handily with the 3k, and then lost pretty surprisingly with the Fragmite clutch. It'd be anyone's guess and anyone's game how this is going to transpire between the two teams. You can see they're setting up those thermite charges. They're ready to take it down. Whether we're going to have an impact trick here. Tactus is covering those windows as the Blackbeard. We can see the Maverick hole set as well. No impact trick comes out, though. That is the wall open, and Maverick is still just digging through, still trying to find a pick, and has pushed them all out of CEOs and just firing wantonly across them as they try and creep back in.
There's really good control for Supremacy, and just having the Blackbeard on these windows is pretty hard to deal with, and Navigo Tactics is going to take him off the board. There goes to Oregon, and now it's a 5v4. They still have Tangy Deal for the board, they still have the ACOG up, so this is still a dangerous position for Supremacy to try and push into, considering also we've still got Hobbit on the board with his remote gas grenades, and of course his handy shotgun. This is a really bad position to be in, Hobbit, and there we go. K6 will punish him for it. That was really bad positioning there coming out from the smoke. Tangy D will be removed by Alive, but Havix will strike back with the Poseidon. There goes the hard breacher of Thermite, but the diffuser will be picked up regardless. Alive does take control of Kanto. Let's see what he can do here, and the pings are going to come up. He goes for the wall bang, doesn't get it quite yet. Havix will push a ball with the castle, trying the refrag, but oh my god, ring around the rosies here. As Havix still has an impact grenade remaining, but will not win the fight just yet. Alive will take him down. It's all down to Ramsey, but K6 will remove him. Supremacy take round number 14, and we are going to max overtime on Bank.
It's weird. It's a weird one, this game. Because normally when you're in max overtime, you're always like, yeah, this has been a max overtime game, but this has often felt like it really shouldn't have got this far. And I'm not quite sure what I can pin that down to. I mean, obviously we're seeing a kind of fresh team come together, and we're seeing Supremacy, who have been struggling with this, but it's a surprising one to find its way all the way to it, because it's been balanced technically and statistically the entire time. We were 3-3, then we're 6-6, now we're 7-7. It's been bat for bat, and I'm not really sure why.
I think it's been a combination of Supremacy sticking way too rigidly to their own tactics. And it's also a bit of a combination as well, coming out that T3H have been adapting on the fly, but it's very obvious that they don't really have that great coordination. And as much as I hate to say it, and as much as we've been saying that Hobbit's one of the best players in the world, that his positioning has been kind of off. Like, we saw it there when he was in the smoke. He's got all of his plant denial up still. He's put himself in a really bad position, and he gets picked because of it.
That's the thing. I mean, yeah, putting himself and going for the push against the Blackbeard there with the shotgun, when you know that that wall on CEO is open, is a particular kind of way of trying to hold that. You are the smoke as well. You still had remote gas grenades in pocket, last I remember, and it's a strange way to try to shut down that push. But I will say, and I'm kind of a little bit surprised on this, this is the first time we've seen Glaz on the map all game.
Glaz is a great pick here, and the fact that there's no Maestro, right? There's a Maestro ban coming through. This is going to be even more devastating. Unlike just looking at the lineup from the defenders here, we've still got the Pulse, which, you know, could be a decent, like, kind of soft counter to the Glaz, and we still see the same lineup coming out from the defenders in terms of how they're defending the blue stairs here. I'm interested to see how the push is actually going to happen here from T3H, considering their lineup. But if anything, I think they've brought the Thatcher just to deal with the blue stairs utility, so they can push in that way, maybe sledge it and try and get in there quickly onto blue stairs, take over server control. And you can see that Glaz is very conscientious of someone playing aggressively on server.
Yeah, that's... I mean, if there's a place where Glaz gets buried on this map, this is it. Pulse is the one that is trying to find anyone lurking around inside, but... No, it's Oregon. Oregon's having a pretty solid game, getting away with a lot of things they arguably really shouldn't have. It could be something that kind of breaks up and shakes the mold, which we talked about is always a very good thing. Yet again, Pulse dancing with the idea of pushing towards the sewer. Pulls off. Tangy D is free to open up. You can see that it looks like they're going for a bit more of a comfortable roam clear this time. And we talked about it before, the heroics of Kavera and how that kind of boiled down to it. But also how that was only really a one-off thing to do. Like, you can't replicate that. And if you can, that is a shame on me and shame on you situation.
Oh, this could be a really devastating C4 coming up from Alive, and it will throw. And that is unfortunate. I didn't realize what particular person that was. But it will be Hobbit again, finding himself on the wrong side of history there, as he will go down for it. And it's going to be just about a minute left to go on the clock. And Alive is going to be hit, but isn't going to go down for it just yet. This is a really slow pushing coming up from T3H, considering they don't even have server control yet. Ella is going to dip out of there. I feel like kind of unnecessarily. She could have wasted a decent amount of time there still. But Alive is still going to be there. Alive and well with no C4. But he is still going to have server control. There's no hard breach left remaining, really. And I think they really relied on having that thermite up until they pushed it to server. So this is really bad. They're going to move down. And there we go. Alive is going to get taken down. This is coming down to the final few seconds of this push. EMP Thatcher is going to go down. They're going to try and get into the side. 3-5 coming out from Havix, trying to find that kill desperately. Smoke should start to come down. EMPs further coming down as well to try and get rid of this plant denial. Smokes are going to go successfully down. Oregon finds his way into the site, trying to desperately find this pick, trying to stop this C4 coming out from the Valkyrie. More smokes going down. And there we go. The diffuser is going to start getting planted. C4 gets tossed. Kobe! And there we go. And it is going to find its mark. Poseidon denies the plant going down from Ramsey. It's all looking burnt over. Oregon finds 1 kill, finds 2 kills. He has to find the 3rd or he can't find it. No, it's not going good. The barbed wire will stop him. Supremacy will take round number 15 and they will take the map. An incredibly close 8 for 7. Oh my god, what a map.
Yeah, that was peculiar in particular. The way they kind of pulled that out there at the end. Supremacy. At some rounds they looked hopeless and lost, and other rounds everything just fell into place. And whether it was down to them doing different stuff or it was down to T3H not doing the right stuff, it changed every single time. There was so much back and forth batting, and that was their map to take 8-7 bank. And that is, I believe, the second time they've played that this season, and they lost it the first time around, so they can add that to their 2 maps. They've won the second map they have won. But as we go now into Border. Border is our second map.
Yeah, I don't think they've played Border yet. No, they have not. So Supremacy hasn't played Border. Of course, CCS is their first game, so they haven't played Border yet. I would still say that T3H have a slight advantage on Border, just being like able to be adaptable like that on Border, and it being a very, very familiar map. It's like the most popular map in competitive, I'm pretty sure right now. So, you know, between that and Oregon, a lot of them are very, very popular. I think T3H have a big advantage going into this, considering that they should know this map quite well. So yeah, we are going to take a quick break though before we do get to that. So we'll see you in just a few moments.
don't think you're there, but it's 2 a.m. I'm awoke and scared. I'm alone tonight. Yeah, I'm alone tonight. Do you still sleep with that old brown bed that I won for you at our first state fair? I'm alone tonight. Yeah, I'm alone tonight. I know some days we all cry, we break down, yeah, we lose our minds. Let it go sometimes, got to let it go sometimes. I know some days we all cry, we break down, yeah, we lose our minds. Let it go sometimes, got to let it go sometimes. I know some days we all cry, we break down, yeah, we lose our minds. I know some days we all cry, but let's trust life. Let's just trust life. I know it's fair that we traveled up and down everywhere, but I'm alone tonight. Yeah, I'm alone tonight. Do you still drive that old Accord that broke down on us and was uninsured? I'm alone tonight. Yeah, I'm alone tonight. I know some days we all cry, we break down, yeah, we lose our minds. Let it go sometimes, got to let it go sometimes. I know some days we all cry, we break down, yeah, we lose our minds. Let it go sometimes, got to let it go sometimes. I know some days we all cry, we break down, yeah, we lose our minds. I know some days we all cry, but let's trust life. Let's just trust life. In time it all works out. It's nothing to cry about. We always have our doubts, but let's trust life. Let's just trust life. I know some days we all cry, but let's trust life. Let's just trust life. In time it all works out. It's nothing to cry about. We always have our doubts, but let's trust life. Let's just trust life.
I carried you home, taking all the weight off your shoulders. Now we're long gone, falling into 1 year older. It's funny how our love began when I was sober. Now I stumble in a room where nobody else cares. Now I'm in two minds thinking about you. I'm in two minds thinking whether I'm too kind to give you all of my truth. I'm in two minds thinking. Now I'm in two minds thinking about you. I'm in two minds thinking whether I'm too kind to give you all of my truth. I'm in two minds thinking.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to CCS Europe Season 4, Player Day number 4. I'm your host, Akasa, James Turner Parkinson, and joining me once again is the magnificent Captain Fluke.
I keep pointing, but I don't actually remember which side of me you're on. Hey guys, welcome back. We are one map down on the first game, Supremacy versus T3H Esports, and it went right down to the wire. 7-6 max OT. That was how it kind of boiled down to Supremacy pulling back a map that at times they looked was completely lost, but it was their choice. However, they have only ever won one other map. If they take the second one, that will be their first win in the entire set of the league so far. Whereas at the same time, this is their first match for T3H. This is their first game inside CCS. So we'll see, obviously, if they can pull any points out of this. It's theirs to bring the draw now and just get themselves 1 point from the first week for them.
For those of you who don't know, this is a best-of-2 league format. It's a one-round robin, but a best-of-2. So essentially playing the same games as if it were a double round robin. And each map, you should really think of it, is worth a point. So no matter what happens now, Supremacy have come out with this at least 1 point. But this is their opportunity to gain their first win of the season, as you say. T3H are going to be fighting for their first draw here because, of course, they are new to the season. This is their first game, and if they want to make playoffs, they need to start taking those dubs.
That's the way it's got to go.
How it's going to go down as we move into our second map of border of our first game of the day between T3H Esports and Supremacy. Something I want to note as well, that a few people in the chat have been pointing out, and I think the rules are kind of unclear to people in the chat. Nomad and Kayed are allowed, and were not brought. But in the Epsilon game, they were brought.
I mean, if I could speak with certain coaches on teams involved in that, I'd love to pick their brains, but I just don't know if I know any.
I think most of them would just ego you anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Especially the Epsilon coach.
Coaches now, they're just like players. But we talk about the bans from the last one. Supremacy instantly rebanning out Monty. They do not want to go against the Man Mountain himself. However, T3H are changing up theirs. Instead of the Habana ban, they're going to stop Ying on the approach, and that is a much better ban for this position. This map.
I think Monty's still a pretty fair ban here. I'll be surprised if Supremacy also ban the Clash again, just because I don't think T3H will bring the shields, but you never know with these guys, so we'll see how it goes down. Mirror is going to not make it through the bans this time. I think that's mostly because T3H are going to be... Yeah. I think that's mostly because T3H are starting on the attacks. You don't want to deal with a Mirror on border. It's just going to be really hard for you to deal with overall. Yep. We're going to see the final ban. I would expect it to be the Clash, honestly, since they did ban the Monty. And yeah, there we go.
They really don't like going up against those two. And we talk about, you know, the familiarity with their strategies and how they don't really change a huge amount as the games go on and stuff like that. And it seems so far the same with their bans, where I believe every single time, with no exception, and I could be corrected on this and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, they have always banned Monty and they've always banned Clash. And that's it.
Yeah, so we haven't seen them play border, but when they played against Vitality, they were banning Monty and Clash. And, you know, other than that, they've never banned Monty or Clash in any of their other games. So it feels to me like Supremacy are really expecting heavy shield play to come out of T3H, potentially because of one of the players that is on. But I'm looking at that lineup, and maybe I'm going to get hate for this, but I really can't see any of those players playing really heavy shield play. And if they were, I feel like they would have brought a Blitz by now.
Yeah. I mean, to double ban the shield every single time across this playday, you've got to kind of... Well, let me actually add to that. Against a team where you haven't really seen much of them as a team, you know, are these comfort? Is this something they know that we don't? I'm just curious as to why it's their always go-to, especially on a map like this. But they are starting the defense. We will see the old familiar starting point of that armory hold.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how this is going to go down. Of course, we see the Maestro being brought here as well now. Still no Nomad Akayed. I'm kind of questioning at this point if the players know that it's allowed. Although, at the same time, I did mention as well that in the pre-game, maybe T3H have a bigger opportunity to take those operators here. But I think that Supremacy have already shown they're pretty unwilling to adapt most of the time.
Yeah, they did one adaptation, I would say, which was to bring that Caveira on the previous map, and it worked really well. And outside of that, they've then just kind of fallen on levels, and yeah, they won the map. Yeah, they were bringing at least 50% across both attack and defense, but, you know, against a team that's maybe had a bit more practice as a team, that's when that will struggle, and that's when that has struggled in the past. But we can see T3H are wasting no time shutting down CCTV and Break, opening up that 90 corner as well, give themselves some sight lines to be able to start putting pressure and putting pincers down. Alive, hanging behind a wall that has suffered a fair chunk of damage, but that is Armory wall open, and the hard push in Hobbit.
Oh no, Hobbit,
Charging.
not again, not like this.
Starting it again. Oh dear, oh dear, Tangy D missing the rotation possibility frag there, catching them out unaware. The only one really take damage is Tactis against that fast Hobbit push. Now is Havoc's putting pressure against West Balcony Armory wall with the Ash dangling, Ramsey dangling on that side balcony.
I'm going to assume they really want to get this Maestro Cam off the board before they do much else, and there is still a nade available for Oregon, so he's going to try and chuck this into the side and see what he can do, but he's going to miss the Maestro Cam. I think he was trying to pick up a kill into Small Officer, and he's still, the Legion is still hanging around there. Still not seeing too much work being done by them, but Tangy D on the opposite side is going to take down Dejuz, and that is going to be the Jaeger off the board. So Thermite, who's already done his job for a Jaeger, I say that's a pretty fair trade. Where did the Zofia mine just come from?
Zofia has magical ways.
Oh no, Tatis is just going to wide peek out of it. He takes down Tangy D, and this is not looking good for pretty much either side right now. And Ramsey, that is a really bad place to get Legion mined, but there we go. Oregon takes up Tatis, and looks like they're going to try and rotate that push a little bit here. Oregon trying to pick up some rotates there. He will find one. Havoc finds another, and only Poseidon is going to find himself in yet another 1v3. Still a C4 left available for him. Plant will start to go down, but will not get put down, and Nitro goes out, but doesn't find its mark quite well. Ramsey just go down, but the Plant is still going down without him, and Oregon from the AC window will take down Poseidon. T3H Esports take round number 1.
Well, that was from going for a rush and losing the diffuser, and the diffuser carrier in a pretty powerful Hail Mary there when they run into Armory, and then being able to pick that back up and pick that apart with some beautiful sightlines, a beautiful cover. That's exactly what we want to see from those guys. That was a really nice balance. They had the AC lookout across, they were covering both windows, and they picked a couple of overzealous Supremacy heads that just wandered a bit too wide. And yeah, we saw Maestro wander wide and get 2 frags and then get picked off, and we just saw, I'm not going to say it was overconfidence, but it was, I guess, too much trust that they weren't being watched, because oh boy, they were being watched and they were being picked apart by those long covers.
Some things that really went wrong there for Supremacy, just in terms of like initial setup, they didn't reinforce the 90 wall. Their positioning was kind of bad for the take that was happening, right? Like we had the Legion sitting in Small Office, who made those little bullet holes, which can be pretty effective for launching a breach. But if you just shoved his head in there, like he might as well just said, hey, just shoot me in the head, please. Because if someone had just pre-fired that wall at crouch level, like people normally do, you lose your Legion. What I will say is that Legion mine at the very bottom of the window there caught Ramsey while he was rappelling up, and while you're on a rappel, you can't take the Legion mine out.
It's, you know, that we mentioned Legion and the pick and the utility and the usage in the previous map, and where it's a better place to play certain operators. And yes, Mira is off the table, otherwise it would be great to bring here, but that kind of positioning and that kind of usage of the Legion, this is when you start to see him become more useful. Yeah, you're still not going against the biggest Bane, or the biggest kind of battle, which is the famous Legion shield battle, but at the same time, as you said, clever moments like that and clever movements like that, that's what is earning him his spot in this Supremacy lineup.
Where? What?
Wow.
Wow, there's just no way that Tassis just wide peeked out of metal and just dinked this guy. Wow, that's actually nuts how Tangy D just went down for that. And yeah, he's that's a bit questionable from Tangy D, but you know, he will still be there. Triple wall still unreinforced, however. And there we go. Nades should start to come out from Oregon. If he can bounce this perfectly, he can catch the guy Canadian. He did get the nade down, but it didn't catch the person because he just ran out of there, and that's actually really smart from Dejas, and he will get reset. Oh no.
Oof.
Oh, well, there's the new update, so
New
this
update.
isn't really that great, is it? I mean, he's gonna get reset to 20, so I mean, this is still worth it, obviously, for how low he was, but it's still very interesting to note that resets really aren't really a thing anymore.
Definitely the smart move to not hang around in there, though. Obviously, you saw how much damage you took just from holding it. You did your time, you survived, but Alive
Hobbit
has shut down a Hobbit with the run out by the looks of it. Still playing around in security room. There is another man putting on pressure and knows exactly where he is, but somehow pulls another frag. Oregon taken to town. Find ourselves in a 5 versus 2. Thatcher concerned about both sides. Obviously, they have that armory wall open, but when they are freely joining out of it to pick up frags like that, you know, you've got to be concerned. Ramsey does shut down Juice. That is Jaeger off the table, and there goes Legion back, giving him away there. A 3 versus 2 with a lot of time left, to be fair. Now it's a 2 versus 2. Havox is not letting up. K6 goes for the peak and does not get it. Maestro and Valkyrie left on the table. 2 big information ops. Only Poseidon finds Ramsey. That is now just the Thatcher versus a Maestro. There's the Legion in the leg. Not good timing. Now going to close down and go for the rotate around where they did just lose a man. The close Thatcher lying off. Valkyrie, I believe, still has C4 in pocket as well. And there it goes.
That's like that kind of, at this moment, he knew he messed up.
Yeah.
As soon as that nitro goes down, you're dead. Like, there's just no way out of that. But there we go. Round number 3 getting underway now. We're still 1 apiece tied up. Some really aggressive play coming off Supremacy, which is kind of surprising given how they've been playing on the previous map. Hobbit has found an assist, though, for himself, which is good.
Hey, it's already...
It all adds up.
Doubled his stats, technically, and that just having numbers in those first 2 columns has...
Is it doubled?
Well, now he's got 2. So he had 1 kill in the previous, and now he's got 1 assist. So I'm counting that in his favor. I'm counting that as he's done 2 things. He'll have a cost as well. I'm not sure how much he's got plants down. I know that they did get the diffuser down, and he's generally carrying it. So let's say that he's got the diffuser down 3 times as well. That's 5 rounds he's had an impact. Theoretically.
I mean, he's had an impact on a lot of rounds for Supremacy anyway.
He has, yeah.
He has.
He's been there, you know.
He's been there.
Been there. He was there.
That's all he has.
1-1.
Round number 3 getting underway. And what do you think about the lineup, sir?
I mean, obviously, I really like Castle on this one. I think Castle played upstairs, locking off, as you can see, Alive setting up there. It can be so good at just holding this vertical control, keeping yourself contained. The missing Jaeger, I'm, you know, a little bit hum and hawing about. It depends entirely on how they want to kind of throw themselves upstairs as well. Obviously, we know Mira's off the table, sure, but we've seen Buck rolling grenades out, and you know you're going to bring him on this point. We've seen Zofia kind of coming, and Ash, to be fair, on Ramsey. And having a Jaeger just up there, just to hold it for a bit longer is always nice. At the same time, the balance of soft destruction on the attackers, I do also really like. I think Sledge can be brought to this point as well. I think he's always got his use. But at the same time, that kind of brings the balance of prediction and knowing that they're going to be going to this, which you can assume here's Sophia already hitting that 90 hole. As we said, that castle play there is beautiful. It's perfect. This is what they want. And there goes the use of utility. And you're eating up the soft destruction before it gets there, which Sledge doesn't really have that issue. Sledge can knock through that and then start knocking holes as well. Whereas this is going to kind of put a dampener in Buck, in your Zofia and in your Ash.
Yeah, I mean, you are going to use utility there, right? If you just get rid of the castles, and you have got the Sledge for a reason, but there's just a lot of soft destruction just across the board from T3H, and they have the control that they really need here. If they manage to get into the archives, even better. If they need to push out armory, they can, but they don't really need to. I mean, they have basic control of archives now. Tangy D has the hallway, and no one's on this Maestro camp to really give info on Tangy D being here, but the push is going to come down anyway. Oh no, Ramsey through the vertical play. The smoke is going to find him. Tangy D trying to find the shot where he can, but Havoc is going to be the one who takes down Poseidon. How has he not died here?
I am not 100% sure. Oregon is going for the pickup. Bullets are still coming through obviously they don't really have the pulse to bring in information here, which I would say is a little bit of a miss. Alive, however, does not miss. He takes Hobbit and the diffuser in CCTV.
Oh my god, alive with the oh my god, alive with a 3K! Oh my god, how does he do that? Runs into CC with a great punch hole, takes the diffuser down as well, and alive single-handedly has turned around this round. He's going to be trying to go for a 4th hit, but no, Oregon will remove him, and Ash comes out from K6 to refrag efficiently. It's all down to Ramsey in a 1v3 to try and clutch out the round. Doesn't have control of the diffuser, but he has a little bit of time to work with it. He's got a couple of flashbangs in his pocket as well. But no, he won't be able to make it happen. K6 will remove him, and Supremacy will take round number 3.
Now, I mentioned before, Alive is one of those players where he can kind of set the pace and set the momentum, set kind of everything working for a team, and oh boy, is he kind of lighting up so far on this map. Obviously, we're only a little bit in, but that play there, dropping the diffuser carrier who is flittering and floating around on the back, and then picking up 2 more frags from where you got the kill from. Oh, it's just the kind of... You know, that's him lighting up. That's him finding his comfort, and that's him just kind of setting the tone for what Supremacy should be doing on this.
So, round number 4 getting underway. We'll see a customs and supply room defense going on. I mean, this isn't really... It's kind of between this and bathroom tellers, right? I really don't like the alibi here. I just... Unless it's Oregon playing Zulu with the alibi, like that's the only place I've ever seen alibi really work effectively. When Identity pulled that out last season, I thought that was a really effective strategy. But other than that, I've never seen an alibi really do that much work for it to be worth it. Like, honestly here, maybe Elysian would be better. Like, play Elysian upstairs and just delay time with him.
Well, that's it. I mean... I think the amount of times we've kind of, I guess, spoken about the lineups that Supremacy are bringing, and to be fair, Alibi, she is exceptionally strat heavy. I would say, if you're bringing an Alibi, you better have a good reason and a good idea of what you're going to do with the Alibi, and even then, it's kind of the balance of, right, is this idea worth it? Is this idea worth the trade of the operators we're bringing and not bringing? But if I'm completely honest, and this, you know, might just be a little bit of kind of willing hope here, if there was a time to bring an alibi to throw a little bit of confusion and spanner against another team, this could be the team to do it against, because so far when they've kind of been falling apart is when they've kind of struggled with comms and struggled with movement and struggled with communication and running this as a team and not just going for frags. And she might just buy that little bit of confusion for one night only, one round only, where it could have some use.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move past it.
I'm saying that with a lot of crossed fingers and a lot of hope. Benefit of the doubt.
I actually really like this from Ramsey. This is not a very common angle for someone to hold. It is great for clearing out CC. However, he has been spotted out now, and he can't stay in for long. But Tanky D is going to back him up. He takes down Alive with a headshot, and Oregon brings up one of his own. But there's just determination to get a kill from this angle. They just is going to get out of there successfully, and he's going to be holding it down. Does still have an ADS. He can't abandon his position either, but he is on a sliver of HP, so this isn't great.
Is kind of the, I mean, I guess this is Alibi and what she's doing. Minute 30 left on the clock, and this is the first time that we've generally seen, as far as I remember, this far into the round, Supremacy on the kind of numbers back foot here. Kind of suffered the first frag, but then pulled it back. But here they are, kind of locking off a point and having a bit more comfortability and a bit more familiarity with the push against it. At the same time, suffering very little and nominal damage. They're still bringing the double soft destruction and the hard. I think the IQ change instead of the Ash is definitely a good move, because we know that they've been bringing the Maestro pretty heavily, and we know that they've been bringing in the Echo pretty heavily, and that is kind of maybe cost them. Juice does find Tangy D. Alibi getting a little bit of use on this map and taking care of Sophia. So that's quite a big loss and quite a big trade there. But Hobbit has that detention wall open now, putting bullets through does have the diffuser as well, and 30 seconds on the clock. Needs to start finding a way into the point. Knows where they are lurking, but just cannot find the method to push them into his sightlines to find the frag that matters so much. But both sides are open, both sides are pushable, and everybody is waiting for the other to make a mistake. And there it is, Oregon finding K6. Echo off the board. Havoc needs to kind of rotate around via Workshop by the looks of it. Just is pulled back, gets spotted out. Hobbit going for the plant. Havoc is finding it as well, but no, Oregon not letting the diffuser go down, wants to get the frag first instead.
Some big mistakes coming out, honestly, from both sides. Like, T3H were waiting way too long while Hobbit managed to get both open the walls. He's like all over the place. You don't know where the push is coming down. He has diffuser. What is the comms coming out from T3H right now? They seem to be like, it's kind of like this whole like call-outs thing coming. They have a general idea what they want to do in the round, but they don't actually do any actual push until the last few seconds. But when it does come through, it's actually quite successful, and I think it's mostly off the back of their gun skill, but there's also pretty good angles coming out. Like, Ramsey had the upstairs covered where he could. There was some good pushes coming out and some good flank watching while the diffuser was trying to go down, and there was general, like, a good sense of cohesion coming out from T3H, but only at the very, very end of the round.
You know, if there was a weak spot to find in their team, it's that they haven't really been running this stuff together for a long time. Their comms are going to be rusty, and that doesn't matter. You can take the best 5 players in the world and put them on a team. If you're throwing them into their first few weeks of matches, of course that is going to be their downside, and that is what we're seeing from T3H. When things do start to kind of flitter and fall apart, they're kind of having to rely on their own guns and their gunning skills, which are exceptional for sure, but it's not the be-all and end-all of this game. And, you know, that's what we get from Supremacy. On the flip side, yes, their gunning isn't quite as strong as T3H, but if their strategy and their comms are what can save them and pull them through this, that is what they need to fall into, and that is what they need to rely on. And to be fair, they're the team that we're seeing kind of get trades. On the flip side, T3H is a team that where they lose a man and they lose a body, oftentimes it's not easily or as easily picked up as we saw before when they did lose Hobbit pushing into CCTV, and then suddenly Alive gets a 3K.
This 90 wall is still not reinforced. I really just can't understand it. Like, if you're not gonna play in that area, you kind of just need to reinforce it. Like, they don't reinforce triple. They don't really play around. I honestly think like an office take would be really good here. Like, cut off the rotate at 90, push in office, get it open. Like, they don't reinforce office wall, like the triple wall. So you can just push in there. You can easily nade someone from above because Jaeger abandoned that position really early at that Canadian position. In fact, they haven't even played that position now. So you could push in here, you could get a nade in through onto Fountain. It's going to be all down to the bandit here to hold it down. K6 still has an Nitro available, but then Thermite has already gone down. He couldn't bandage trick it at all, but Dacius is going to support him. Oregon's out of it. And the drones are going to start to go down into Fountain. K6 holding on quite well. What a shot from K6. Ramsey just goes down like a sack of potatoes. About halfway to the round, we've already lost the Buck and the Ash. And even though Hobbit did his job, his team didn't.
That was exactly it, wasn't it? It's you've got to run this as a team. You've got to run it with the comms. They are breaking open walls. They're getting there, but K6 being allowed to do that with so many drones coming in and yet still finding the flick frag in and amongst it. Yeah, it was an exceptional bit of shooting and reaction, but there's 5 of you closing on one man who's been droned down 3 times.
What a flank coming out from Alive! No, Hobbit, no! Hobbit, no! Oh my god, Hobbit. I mean, I'm sorry, but like, at this point, I don't even know what's happening with Hobbit. He's just not, his heart's not in it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think, I mean, he's having, everyone has bad days. Everyone has bad days. I think, obviously, we said he was doing his job well at the beginning. As far as we know, it could be fresh on this Fragmite role and trying to just gel with a team that, as we've said a few times, their strategies are what they're trying to work out. Their strategies are what they're trying to reinforce. And when you are put in the position on the team to be their utility, their strategizer, their core of tactics on a team that's learning tactics, it's a hard place to be in.
Also, that Claymore was just really badly placed. Like, normally you should put the Claymore to the top of the stairs.
Yeah, I was kind
But
of thinking about that.
Claymore was kind of just on the opposite angle. Not really sure what the thinking was there, but
The-
they just let a flank get away for free, basically, and they 2 kills went down there, but that should have instantly been traded by Hobbit. I'm just not sure what was happening there for Hobbit. It's just not his day today, but
It's not. We all have. bad
wow.
days.
I think that run was over anyway, regardless of if Hobbit had got the trade or not. But yeah, no one on the flank watch, clearly no flank watch drones, and there's a lot of attitude with Claymores, especially in that East Stairs Claymore, any kind of like stairs Claymore, where you just kind of like forget about it. You know, you kind of put it down, it's like, bam, whatever, you can just forget about that angle. No one's going to flank East Stairs now. We have a Claymore there. That's not really how it works.
Yeah, especially when, as you said, the man was able to run up and get 2 frags before even needing to worry about dropping the Claymore. Yeah, like, that's when you've misplaced your utility, and you gotta think, like, what were they intending for that to stop? Were they intending for that to just slow the push, or were they intending for that to stop the counter at all, or the roam at all? Or it's curious. It's curious decisions being made that I think a team that is still just trying to find the marble that needs to be carved out.
The marble that needs to be carved out. There's some
yeah.
pretty good phrases coming out at you today, Philippe.
If I'm honest, I was going to say something else there, a different analogy, but then I remembered halfway through that it involves a swear word, so I'm not going to say that. Professionalism.
This is PG stream coming out. There you go. Hobbit is going to get his thermite charge placed down onto the armory of the box wall here. Alive going to try and peek it out, but can't find anything going down. So, this is not looking too good at all, but like this early upstairs control has been achieved almost every single time from T3H, but they just get a double kill out of it. Alive finds one as well, and that was a 5v2. Havoc takes down Alive, and it's a 4v2, all down to him and Hobbit, but no, he goes down. It's all down to the fragger by himself. Hobbit trying to desperately find a kill where he can. At this point, I feel like Hobbit just needs to stay here, play safe, and they just need to talk it out, because he's got a minute 30. Like, when you see players just saving the AWP, it's normally just teams just talking about what went wrong, and Nitro will go out as an attempt to kill him, but he will manage to find his mark.
He obviously is under a bit of pressure from the side. They know pretty convincingly where Hobbit is and what he's doing. That is shots from underneath. Now, just under 25 health, going for a big rotate to the other side. Has the diffuser, worried about runouts, worried about pressure, worried about a whole mess of things, but as you said, this is a minute for them to recuperate. This round is a loss, and that is what they're doing. Hobbit is not saving up, but
well, I mean, on top of
that,
that, the stats haven't been going well for Hobbit this entire match. I think that's been pretty obvious for everyone. So, he's also getting something out of this right now.
it's a tactical timeout.
The tactical timeout. They've got a minute to now, and you just talk about what went wrong, what would they need to do on the next like half. So they go into the defense rounds now. So there's a lot to talk about here, and you know, Hobbit might find an exit pick out of it. So I mean, a 1v4, I don't see how it happens. And also something to note, that people might be roasting Hobbit here, but he couldn't have put down that Claymore last round because he's bringing in flashes. But it looks like he's going to try and clutch it out. So he's going to move all the way down. He gets a kill. He gets a double. Hobbit's the best player in the world. Oh my god. He still has 3 flashes in the site. He has diffuser. How is this happening right now? Hobbit could clutch this out. He's putting diffuser down. But no, T3H is going to shut down this poor English lad's hopes and dreams. And then again, Hobbit will be removed. What? I just, in my heart, I really wanted Hobbit to clutch it.
As soon as he started, because he attacked those stairs with a bit of pace before he got the double, I had in my head, I was hearing the national anthem. Flags were waving on my screen.
England was behind him.
England was behind him. And unfortunately, it wasn't to be so. The French, yet again, shutting down England's hopes and dreams via Hobbit. But 4-2 now as we go into the split. And this is looking very good for Supremacy.
Yeah, I'd say this is looking pretty good for Supremacy. Although I would say this is kind of an expected thing at this point, right? Like in terms of scoreline, just because while Border can be very, very 50-50 at times, I think with the way that it's kind of like gone down, that it should be fairly defender-sided. So a 4-2 scoreline is not necessarily a bad scoreline to go through. That's not to say that T3H didn't do things that were wrong and that there weren't things that could have been improved from their attack. Like, that office push could have been really good. And it was going well at the start, and then they kind of just slowed down entirely. They didn't get that pick at the fountain, and I think that was really the crux of why they lost that round. I'm glad to see that they're reinforcing 90. I think a team like T3H is going to play against itself quite a lot. And, you know, you'll see them reinforcing things of angles that they have used.
The famous 90 reinforcement.
Yeah.
We may see.
And it's good as well. It's like, this is kind of what you need, right? Like, that 90 angle was abused so heavily, and I really thought that that's why they were going to go for an office push, because that 90 angle was good, triple wall was soft. There really wasn't any contesting coming out from Supremacy on that area. Basically, Tactics is going to bring out the Blackbeard. It's like he's going to make his way through onto 90, and it looks like this is going to be an office push from them as well.
Yeah, I mean, by the way they're stacking up, you can see that they're playing Tangy D inside, who has, to be fair, held angles he maybe shouldn't have, but Tactics just runs into the bullets there. Blackbeard, I know you have a shield, but he was pre-firing that pretty aggressively.
Yeah, he was. But we're finally seeing Nomad being brought here from K6, which is good. For those of you who don't know, Nomad and Kayed are both allowed in this league now. They were used in the previous play day. Now, this is the first time we're seeing either of them used today, which is, you know, good. We see some pretty interesting use coming out from Nomad, particularly from Blur. I mean, I know Blur's on my team, so I don't want to talk about it too much, but, you know, there was good usage coming out in earlier matches. You can already see how powerful these operators are.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Obviously, now that they have been released from this TAC timeout, the big one you hear about Nomad especially is there are maps where she is just gonna be banned. She is so powerful in what she can achieve, positioning, the movement, and just the kind of explosivity she can bring to a push and to an attack. Yes, she got the nerf where it's instant, but that in no way means that she is not someone you have to keep your eyes on now, especially in the setup. Underneath, suffering a fair bit of soft destruction, somehow Hobbit is surviving out of this with that smoke, manages to pull away. Gonna cover the close angle with the shotgun alive, having a heck of a game. Finds Oregon in the meantime, and then the double against Havocs as well. Alive is really flying the flag and trying to get this first win for Supremacy. They can taste it and they can feel it, and they are putting pressure inside this armory, but there is 40 seconds left. They need to start trying to work out how to get this diffuser down with Maestro off the board and Valkyrie. Those are two pretty tasty takes, and Hobbit as well on no health by the looks of it, waiting and wanting to be reset. The diffuser, however, being planted. The C4 thrown doesn't get anyone somehow, and the diffuser just goes down as they pretty mercilessly shut down Diffuse. Can peek and gets it. Not 100% sure how they allowed that to happen. Yes, the Nomad went off, and there's another one from Ramsey. Dropped but not down and not out. There is the lockdown. Suddenly a 1 versus 2 from a situation that looked like it was entirely theirs. K6 brings this down to a 1 versus 1, and there it is. Wow, the back and forth of that round inside that armory was absolutely insane.
Absolutely just beautifully played there for my K6 right at the end, but Ramsey doing a great job to deny that. I feel like the C4 was a little, like, it was a microsecond too late from Ramsey, and if it had been a little bit earlier, it could have been a potentially devastating round ending coming out from him, but it will not be. And we'll see the power of Nomad also coming through quite effectively during that round. I think that the Nomad was a little bit misplaced there to stop Ramsey from doing that. Like, you should put it a little bit more aggressively because it can be kind of delayed on the actual trigger.
Yeah, I mean, seeing the Nomad go a bit late just after getting that kill on the diffuser, if it was slightly differently placed, you do wonder if it was slightly differently turned around. You know, they were tight on time for sure to get that diffuser down, but not enough to kind of pull out of that. I know they say, oldest saying in the book, pros never fake, but pros can bait. Pros do bait, pros love to bait. You know, maybe a slightly different positioning on the Nomad, but 5-2, we find ourselves creeping closer and closer to a Supremacy win on this. T3H, they're starting to do some of the right stuff, but unfortunately, it could be too little too late. This is a heck of an uphill battle that they've got left to fight.
Yeah, it is, but at the same time, I always like to say in Rainbow, You don't actually lose anything for losing rounds. Like, there's no gold or anything like that. There's no shop. There's no economy. If you lose a round, you lose a round. Whatever. Just shake it off. Go into the next round. A lot of teams will have this kind of thing where you're not allowed to talk about the last round when it went wrong. You know, you just move on. You reset your attitude. Just go into the next round with a fresh outset. That's really you have to be. You can't think about the scoreboard. You can only think about your own performance, because it's very, very easy to come back from this kind of thing. I know T3H probably aren't taking this too seriously, but that is not a great start. Alive through the vertical play is going to remove Oregon. Wow, what a great shot from Alive. And yeah, as you said, he's having the time of his life right now.
Yeah, he is really, really ramping up on this map. Ramsey and Tangy D managed to get 2 back, including Alive, but still being able to just pop in and take out Valk like that in the middle of whatever she was doing with that much speed as well is pretty impressive. Now, they have a little bit of a view from 90. Obviously, they are reinforcing it, which we didn't see Supremacy do too much, which is giving them a little bit more safety and a little bit more security in the hold here. But 2 minutes left. Ash and Sophia obviously taken out of the attack. They're going to have to rely on their hard destructors pretty much solely now. If they try and shake Tangy D out of his buried in office, just going to pull off to Fountains. Has no reason to let them swarm.
Really reason indeed. Supremacy at a bit of a deficit here right now, as just about 1 minute 30 left to go on the clock. And you know, halfway through the round, the progress from Supremacy has not really been that impressive so far. I mean, and you can also look at the lineup coming out still from T3H from the defenders. They've still got plenty of utility on the board. You still see Echo drones on the board, for more importantly. And, well, there goes a Nitro, but as I was about to say, Nitros were still on the board from Ramsey, so there's still a lot to do for Supremacy to slowly wear away this attack, and they've still yet to get walls open to actually have your entry into the site. But K6 is going to rotate up into east stairs. They're not too bothered about any more about that downstairs defender, because the Nitro has gone off, of course. Supremacy are going to have control of the office. Tactis slowly creeping his way through onto Fountain, as Poseidon's going to get it opened up. Tangy D in a bit of a rude awakening here right now as he goes to the pre-fire, but no, Tactis will remove him. There goes Fountain control, very effectively done. And well echoed as well, but K6 will pick up Havocs as he tries to return. This is not looking good all of a sudden. So down to Hobbit and Ramsey yet again in a 3v2 clutch situation. They don't have control of the archives anymore, and drones will confirm that. 20 seconds left to go on the clock. They're trying to move in. Nomads will go down to prevent any kind of retake. The smokes will go out from Hobbit to deny this diffuser going down so quickly, but he won't actually find his mark. Diffuser will go down regardless of that, and Ramsey will try and rotate through 90, but the edge up will find him. Hobbit will find a kill into Tactics regardless. Blackbird will go down, and Hobbit and Ramsey are here in a 2v2 for a retake, but a retake against air jabs, that's not a great situation to be in. K6 will white peek out, he takes down Ramsey, it's all down to Hobbit in a 2v1 clutch situation. All of England is behind you, Hobbit, to try and make this happen. He still has one remote gas grenade, but he has no intel. He has no idea where they are, and there we go, Poseidon. He's going to be holding down from the entry. Supremacy move onto round number 8's victory and into match point.
Well, 6-2 after the first map, and how it kind of back and forth for so much, and the amount of times the game on Bank looked like it was in T3H's hand. It's a completely different story this time around. Supremacy on T3H's map pick are really just coming together as a team and struggling to find the ground back that they need. Alive 12-7 with 5 assists is making a mark on this game so far, but then K6 and D-Shoes are pulling out some pretty tasty frag movements of their own. It looks like it's going to be a 7-2 as it currently stands.
Yeah, definitely. So, moving forward, this is round number 9 getting underway. Supremacy have not failed on any attacks yet, despite the fact that it has been so closely lit up. What are your thoughts on this going forward? Like, what is going wrong here for T3H?
I mean, I think it's a tough one for them. Obviously, they've come into this league, they've come into it halfway through. They're going against a team. Like, if they were against other teams, sure, we talk about rosters and how quickly and how slowly they change, but this is Supremacy. They have been together with not a huge amount of change, I would say, for a very, very long period of time. They know each other. They're very familiar with each other. This is them arguably going up against their biggest kind of proponents in terms of togetherness of a team. This is them going against their biggest challenge, because if they're against a team that maybe had less kind of history under their belt and were instead a more fragging team, they'd probably find themselves getting a bit more success. Whereas, you know, what's being shut down is we're seeing a great cover from Supremacy. We're seeing great movement from Supremacy. We looked at the round just before where there was the crazy back and forth inside Armory, and what kind of brought it back from Supremacy and got them out of the way of things like the C4 or the cover and the refrags, whereas it looked like T3H were just kind of ducks in the water. They were sat there and they were struggling to find any kind of refrags and counters to what was being thrown against them. I think those are problems that unfortunately are hard to fix in a day, but give them some time and they might be able to start finding ways to sort that out. But Cactus, in the meantime, shuts it down. Oregon with a nice team push against Construction. Gonna pull away and start pushing up against the point. Obviously, we've gone to Armory for the third time. You talk about when a team loses a position in a situation and a defense, and whether they should try and rotate to other points just in case. Whether they assumed that, and that's why they've done a slightly different push, or whether they're just bringing out other moves from the strat book from Supremacy, I'm not entirely sure. But so far, shutting down a Vigil, and still a minute 45 left, it's going well for them.
Yeah, it has been going pretty well for them so far. And just looking at how the attack is going down, they're achieving their objectives. And we've seen Supremacy before, even though they have seems to have no time and no real energy to actually put through a round. They seem to be them just yet, even if they were at a deficit, but their progress has been very good so far.
Oh, that is unfortunate for K6 not to catch Tangy D. Puts him to half health, but he's still going to sit by that soft wall and pray alive in the meantime. Shuts down Hobbit, and it is more and more unlikely that they will be able to find their way back into this game. The diffuser is going down, the smokes are out, here comes the push. Havocs does shut down Alive, and the diffuser gets dropped, but there we talk about their communication and their refrags, and there are two more. Ramsey and Havocs taken off the table. Tangy D 1 versus 4, and now 0 versus 4. That is GG as Supremacy take their first win inside this season.
Much better play from Supremacy coming out there. I really think that Mirror getting through the bans really heavily threw off Supremacy on Bank. And yeah, we saw on Border, they are clearly the way more coordinated team. They've done way better. And Alive had basically the game of his life.